Hello, everyone. Welcome to the horror live stream with everything horror. Today we have some special guests. They are Cheers to Fears on YouTube. We're going to be talking about all things horror. We're going to talk about their channel. So let's go ahead and bring them in. We're going to have a good time. Let's do this. What's up, Tucker? What's up, Alex?
Hey, how's it going? Not too bad.
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
Oh, well, I'm glad you guys are here. I've been really wanting to talk with you guys. I really like your channel, so I thought, why not have you guys as a guest?
Yeah, and we appreciate that too.
All right. So if you guys don't know, Tucker and Alex, they are horror YouTubers. They do awesome drinking games with their videos on horror movies. So they come up with these rules that these rules on their videos on movies, usually on things like just random stuff. Like, give an example on one of your videos.
One example is, every movie I guess we have is you drink for each death you see for every.
I mean, what are some of the movies we've done? The most recent one is Rosemary's Baby. We did the Halloween franchise. We started with the Saw franchise and
just a bunch of, you name it.
Yeah, a bunch of random stuff like that.
I think we have about 50 drinking games thus far.
Yep, Rosemary's Baby was 50.
And that's what I really admire about you guys. You guys have some great work ethic. Each video is like almost 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it's usually ranging from 15 to 20. We try to keep it under 20 minutes just because a lot of people are deterred by longer watch time, but especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. But overall, I think your guys' videos are very different from a lot of other people's. Not to call myself out, but I just do regular reviews. But you guys have a twist to it with your drinking games.
Yeah, and that was our goal, I guess, from the beginning.
Yeah, we wanted to have something that people would kind of separate us in a way, I guess.
Yeah, just have a little bit of a gimmick, I guess, involved.
Yeah.
But we don't do anything else really other than ranking lists here and there. But for the most part, our shtick is the drinking games, which we focus on mostly for now.
Yeah.
So, what got you guys into YouTube in general?
So I think this starts back a while ago anyways. I know Tucker and I had a night where we decided to do a Saw drinking game. I don't know what exactly influenced us to do it, but we had the idea to do it. We did it in his backyard on a TV, and it was a lot of fun. And then we did, I think, just the first two Saw movies.
We did the first two Saw movies, yeah.
It was pretty brutal. Nobody drove home.
We both kind of got sick by the end of the night.
But yeah, after that, even our friends were like, "Are we doing this again?" And then we said yes. And then we did the entire Saw franchise. And we're like, "What do we do next?" So we did, I think, Final Destination. Then just did kind of everything. We generally did one franchise movie, and then one one-off movie.
Yeah. So then that leads us to how we got into YouTube, which it came to me in the shower. Funnily enough, it was a shower thought. I was just like, why don't we just make this idea into a YouTube channel? It's kind of a clever idea. We don't see anybody else doing it. So I proposed the idea to Alex, and he was on board right from the beginning, right away. And everything kind of just fell into place from there. And our roles fell into place. There was no hurdles for the most part.
Not really. We had discussions of where we kind of want the direction to go, the whole format and everything. But besides that, we were basically on the ball for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I know for me, when I first started, it didn't come to me in the shower, but but I don't know. I just always had a love for horror movies. And then I first started out on TikTok, and then funnily enough, I started moving into YouTube because of TikTok, and it was kind of like a roll from there. So in regards to when you guys make videos, what deters you, or what makes you want to do a review or drinking game on a certain movie?
There's a few things I feel. So I guess one example is just like how new it is. Like we try to do a good chunk of like 2021 releases, which we have done for the most part.
And like, for example, when Spiral was released, the reason that we chose to do the Saw franchise was because Spiral was coming out, and it was kind of, we try to be relevant with new movies that are coming out.
Yeah.
And so we did the whole Saw franchise and then Spiral after that. And it's kind of like same thing with the Halloween franchise. It just perfectly lined up with the month of October. And we did the whole Halloween franchise because Halloween Kills was being released. And it's just, you know, it fit the bill for that. In terms of the one-off movies we choose, it's kind of, we just sit down and we each pick a movie and go from there. I don't know. There's no real rhyme or reason as to the movies we pick other than the new ones, but it's just whatever we kind of feel like, I guess.
It's basically that or like a holiday. So like for Halloween, I did Trick or Treat. But like other than that, like we didn't really give too much thought into it. It's like, do you want to do this movie? And we're like, yeah, sure. And we make our schedules like I'd say months ahead of time. So like up until I think October, we already had like up until January planned for the most part. So we're on top of it for the most part.
Okay. Now, what are some of your biggest influences in your channel?
Yeah, so this was actually a hard question for us to think about. Like we kind of didn't think about it until you asked. And when we sat down and thought about it, we kind of realized that there's a lot of similarities to like Dead Meat's YouTube channel. Like for example, he counts kills, which we also count, but we also count other things. So that's similar in that sense. And then he also gives awards at the end, which we also give the Darwin Award at the end of our episodes. So it's similar in the sense, but we didn't think about it when we were creating the channel. Yeah. Like it just kind of happened to fall into place.
Yeah. It's just a lot of like glaring similarities. That's almost hard to deny, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I had initially thought of whenever I watched your videos. Dead Meat.
Yeah, and like we don't try to do a copy paste format, obviously.
No, you guys do it different enough. Yeah.
Like the main difference is like we have more of a review standpoint where he has, I'd say, almost like a little bit of a movie summary for the most part. Like it's like this is what happens in the entire movie pretty much.
Yeah, he kind of does a deep dive into it, really.
Yeah. I feel like other than that, like who else would be our influences really?
Like I don't know. I've watched so many. I've been into YouTube watching like as an audience member for so many years, and just in general, like once we started the channel, just watching YouTube videos, I watched them in a different kind of view. I guess I had a different view on it. Because I do the editing for the videos, I was seeing like how much time this person actually took when they're editing the video. You can see that kind of stuff, and it really sticks out to me. And like it would kind of put ideas into my head how I see these editing ideas in other people's videos or like the way they edit their video. It kind of influences it makes me want to try new things when it comes to editing, I guess. So that way influences me personally a lot.
Yeah.
But like in terms of horror, like just the community in general, the horror community in general influenced us to get into it because we saw so many like great creators creating horror content. And we're like, well, we could do that too. We're huge fans of horror. Why not do it ourselves?
And especially like there's so many small content creators. So it's also another thing that kind of relatively helped us keep going for the most part.
Motivated us.
Yeah, motivated us. There's the word. The community really motivated us, especially like a lot of other small YouTubers reaching out for the most part. Like it's a big happy family in there. So that really gave us they really helped us a lot, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, like, how have you guys liked about your time on YouTube so far?
Very enjoyable, I'd say.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like, just going more into the community in general. Like I said, there's so many creators in this horror community, and like it feels like they all know each other in a sense. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, they're always commenting on each other's videos, and it's awesome to see. And we try to do the same thing and, you know, be a part of the community. We're slowly getting more and more in there, I guess. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's just it's awesome to see all these people come together and, you know, just have a lot of fun on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing it for the money or, you know, or the fame or anything like that. They're doing it because they love horror, and that's kind of our stance on it too.
Yeah, it also like it's treated us well. Like we've loved like having like even like a single comment like does a lot for us on videos. We love reading comments. We respond back. Even like our 100 subscriber milestone doesn't sound like a lot, but we were very happy to hit it.
Oh yeah.
Even for example, like we got our first dislike on a video, and we were even talking about that. Like, oh my god, we have controversy. So many milestones. Yeah, like it's the small things.
Yeah, every little thing's a milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those milestones, they help keep you going, you know?
Oh, exactly. I can't wait till we get our first actual hate comment.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Oh, I've had a couple of those.
Yeah.
But whenever you do get it, just don't pay it any mind, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's your opinion.
Well, yeah, exactly. I even in the real world, I try not to like let criticism get to me. Like if it's legit constructive criticism, I'll take it with consideration and like, you know, try to improve on it or whatever. And if somebody has feedback like that, I'll listen to it for sure. And, you know, we've got a couple of those comments saying what we could improve on, especially with our like script reading, especially is our main thing that we're trying to improve upon. And like, we've had a couple comments like that, and we take it to heart and try to, you know, come up with ideas to actually improve upon it.
Yeah.
But for when we get those actual just like, you know, random hate comments that don't serve any purpose or anything, I can't wait.
Yep. Now, in regards to the horror community, I know you guys were nominated for Horror Tuber of the Month. So how did it feel to be nominated for something like that?
Unexpected.
Man,
to say the least.
Super unexpected, and like I was extremely shocked and honored. Like I was kind of speechless when Horror Flicks with Nick first reached out to us. So I was like,
oh yeah, shout out to Horror Flicks with Nick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been one of our biggest supporters right from the beginning, honestly. Like, but anyways, like when we first were nominated, like he reached out to us in the comment section on one of our videos, and like obviously we were down right away. Like, yeah, nominate us. We're honored, and like it didn't like Alex said, it was super unexpected, and yeah, we're honored to be included with so many other content creators, like the 3 other nominees: Curly Girl at the Movies, the Horror Hour, and the Black Lagoon Network.
Yeah,
we never heard of them before, but since Nick nominated them, we checked out their channels, and like that's the biggest thing about Horror YouTuber of the Month. I like it. It shows new channels to new eyes, and you know, it helps them get discovered, and that's what I like, discovering new channels.
And it makes the whole like horror community kind of feel closer to YouTube, I feel, as well. That's the other thing. It
makes it stronger, and like everyone's just having a good time with it and boosting each other up, and it's awesome to see. And like right from the beginning, we're not expecting to win it or anything. We're just like honored to be a part of it in the first place. But then, you know, we started getting some comments from people, and it felt super good to be recognized, even from the handful of people we got.
I think the voting's I guess the winner's gonna be released on December 3rd. So
tomorrow,
we'll see how we do. Yeah,
we're gonna find out tomorrow who the winner is. So,
so we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Okay, so you guys don't know yet.
We don't know who the official winner is. No,
we have a pretty good guess from the way the votes have been going. There's been, I think, a few votes for us, and what was the other one?
The Horror Hours.
The Horror Hours. So it's a pretty tight race, but voting close.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I voted for you guys.
Oh, we saw it. We replied too.
Yes.
Like, thank you. Every vote was awesome.
Yeah, we are very grateful for every vote that we received.
All right, but yeah, I would imagine it's a pretty prestigious thing to, you know, to be acknowledged like that.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, it feels good for sure. Especially if, like, it was right after we just hit our 100 subscriber milestone, and then that happened. It was like, you know, we were already feeling super good from the 100 subscriber milestone, and then we got that. It kind of just boosted us even more, and it really motivated us.
Mhm.
So a thought that I had when I was going through your guys' videos is I noticed that you guys actually watched pretty much all of James Wan's,
Yes.
movies, and it's pretty crazy how, in just this year, there's like 3 IPs that were released that are from James Wan, which
Yeah.
is pretty
Mhm.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that until I watched your guys' video. I'm like, oh yeah, Spiral came out, Saw's
Mhm.
from him,
Yeah.
the
The Conjuring
new
3.
movie that just came out, Malignant, the
Malignant.
Conjuring,
Yeah.
franchise. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's probably both of our
Yeah.
favorite horror directors.
He's up there at least.
At least
for
modern
sure. Definitely.
horror
Yeah.
for sure. Like, I don't know, we love all of his franchises, like
Mhm.
Saw.
Yeah, we
Love
started with like Dead Silence, and
Dead
like
Silence
Dead
is our
Silence is
first
probably
video.
like one of his like worst horror films, if you want to say, and like that was our first video, so like that
Yeah.
shows how much we like James Wan in a sense.
Dead
And to
Silence
me-
is my least favorite movie by him, but
Yeah,
we chose to do that one because it was actually the first movie.
it was the
Alex
first horror
saw.
movie I watched. Yeah,
Horror movie, sorry.
Oh, okay. Dead Silence. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I remember the vibe that the film had, and and when I watched *Malignant*, I felt like I had that same feeling
Okay, yeah.
when I was watching *Dead Silence*. It has that campy, almost kind of like
definitely
child story. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like
like a childhood growing up story.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Urban myths, kind of.
urban. Yeah,
I
exactly.
wouldn't even call it like urban myths for the *Malignant*, but like I definitely see.
But yeah,
What did you
and-
think about *Malignant*?
*Malignant*. I really liked it. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Same with us. Yeah, it was such a divisive movie. I found it's either people loved it or they hated it. I swear. I don't know.
And I felt like we got a lot of that this year. A lot of the films were pretty divisive. Like Candyman, a lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't like it. I was one of that fell, and I didn't really like it.
Okay, we really liked it.
You guys really liked it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I came out of the theater, I just had this feeling that it didn't really mesh well with me. Like
That's fair.
with the actual Candyman, I just didn't really like it. I was missing Tony Todd while I was watching
Tony
it.
Todd was in it for like an entire scene at the end,
Well,
which was,
yeah,
which
30
was really
seconds.
disappointing. So I get that
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Especially the impact that he had like on the first one. The other two, we'll just put those aside for now. But the first one, especially, like you can't remake the first one without Tony Todd.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just felt like it was something was missing from it.
Yeah.
What about you
that's-
guys? What were your likes about it?
For me, like, I liked the body horror aspect of it. Body horror is one of my favorite genres personally, and just
I like that too.
yeah. So like just that, but the imagery involved, like, I guess the main thing is this one felt a lot more scary than the original Candyman.
Definitely, yeah.
Like the imagery, and like I liked in the beginning how you didn't actually see the Candyman unless it was in a reflection or like a shadow of him, and like you never actually got to see him in physical human form or whatever. So I like that part about it, and I feel like the cast did a great job in it personally.
The main thing that I loved about the Candyman, I feel, is like just the way that they used I'd say cinematography almost. So for example, the little figurettes when they're moving those around, like telling a story, I love those scenes.
Oh, with the shadow puppets.
The shadow puppets, there we
Yeah.
go. It's a really divisive way of just telling a story, and like along with that, like even in the scene with the gallery where you can see the Candyman's like shadow like on the wall, like moving closer.
And then the screen gets ripped up,
Yeah.
but you don't actually see him.
Yeah, it's a lot more terrifying. Like that makes it a lot more terrifying than like I guess like kind of like the romantic horror that Candyman was in like '92.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and I like that aspect too with the shadow puppets. I thought like you said, it was a really neat way of doing the storytelling
Mhm.
with with not having like flashbacks, things like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
that was
it's-
pretty inventive.
exactly. And another thing I liked about it was how they had Easter eggs, I guess, or callbacks to the original Candyman, but not so much that it was like in your face doing a bunch of fan service. It was kind of like if you've seen the original, then if you notice or if you see these things in the movie, you're gonna know where it's from. And I like that. But it wasn't a part of the plot per se. It was just kind of there for the viewers to appreciate, I guess. And I'd like that part about it too.
Yeah. For me, it was the ending. It kind of fell apart for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
But other than that, I thought it was okay. It's just I was expecting more for sure.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so let's go ahead and get into some horror news, and it's just going to be like one topic that we're going to go over. So let's go ahead and get that going.
Here, see, we have horrifying news.
Okay, so we got that. So the big thing that happened is Nicolas Cage is going to be Dracula, and it's going to be for a movie called, I think it was Renfield. Let me just make sure. What Renfield is I guess it's one of the henchmen for Dracula, and it's going to revolve around. I think Nicholas Hoult is going to be the main character, and then Nicolas Cage is Dracula. And then actually Aquafina is going to be in the movie too. So not really sure. The director is the guy who did Lego Batman. His name is escaping me right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he directed what was it? That movie that came out with Chris Pratt, the Alien movie.
Alien movies.
Tomorrow World or something like that. Was it Tomorrow World?
Why do I think Guardians?
It came on Amazon.
Okay.
Yep, escapes me.
I don't know it either. But in terms of Nicolas Cage being casted as Dracula, I honestly think that's a pretty solid fit, not going to lie. Especially with Nicolas Cage's over-the-top acting. I don't know what the tone of this movie is going to be, but if it's set right, he's going to nail that role. I don't know. That's just my take.
Nicolas Cage has been a very interesting actor. So like in a lot of, I guess like the 90s films that he was in, people thought he was like a really good actor. And then like kind of early 2000s, people thought he was like absolutely insane. Like with, like say The Wicker Man or Face Off. And like this guy's just bananas, nuts. And like he kind of had a resurgence in like the early I guess like the late 2010s as like Mandy, as like Mom and Dad. They kind of knew how to typecast him, and I feel like he got a lot better because of that.
Oh yeah,
I see. Yeah, with Nicolas Cage, I just love him. Did you guys see Willy's Wonderland?
That was the other one I was going to mention.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Willy's Wonderland. It's a 2021 movie, I believe.
Yeah.
I still haven't yet to see it. Yeah.
That's one of the many movies on my list for 2021 that I want to see. And I'm so far behind on them. It's embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah, in the movie he like almost doesn't say a word. And
that's what I heard, yeah.
And just his the way he acts in that film is hilarious as well. He doesn't even have to say anything.
That's Nicolas Cage though.
Yep, exactly. But I'm really interested to see what this is going to look like. Is it going to have like a more comedic type of feel, or is it going to be straight up horror? With the director, that's what's kind of throwing me off here.
Yeah.
And the cast of Aquafina. But she has had, serious roles. I think last year she had a really big role in this drama movie. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Like Aquafina's always been in like a comedic sense, and for me, like I've never seen her in a serious role. I guess I haven't seen her in a serious role, and it kind of surprises me that she's going to be in a horror movie, and it kind of leads me to believe that they might have a comedic aspect with it too, because I feel like she could do good as a serious actress as well. But she needs to have some comedy in there, I feel like. But who knows? I could be proven wrong.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm just trying to think of similarities. Who's the new actor from Spiral? Like the lead character.
From Spiral?
Yes, he's also
Chris
also
Rock?
a comedian. Chris Rock, yes.
Oh,
So Chris Rock, like that's my comparison. Like he was fine in Spiral for the most part.
Yeah.
So like
I
feel
actually
like
him in Spiral. Yeah.
he was fine in that. So I feel like comedic actors can play a serious role when given the opportunity.
yeah, and actually that kind of goes in with the idea. You hear a lot of the times that the horror genre and the comedy genre have a lot of similarities involved because they try to pull out a specific emotion from you, and it's hard to master.
Yeah.
Whereas like a drama, it's easy to make someone feel sad or emotional compared to like getting scared, or to make somebody laugh. It's a lot harder. And that's why horror and comedy are also linked together in that sense.
But they're like almost as far away like as you can get.
Yeah, they're polar opposites, but they work well together at the same time.
Yeah.
So I could see like it could be, if it's directed well, it could definitely work. And with Nicolas Cage, like I said, if it's done properly, he'll be awesome in that role. If it's done poorly, he'll be god awful in that role.
Yeah.
Still worth watching to cringe at.
Yeah.
But, and same goes with Aquafina. If it's directed properly, I feel like she's gonna do good too.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I feel like it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
if it's
definitely.
fun, that's the main thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Nicholas Hoult?
Nicholas Hoult.
I don't actually know who Nicholas Hoult is.
I am also at a loss for who Nicholas Hoult is, to be completely
Have you
honest.
guys watched the X-Men movies?
I have.
Which ones?
Well, yeah, which one?
The newer ones, like Future Past, First Class.
I think so.
What else
Okay.
has he been in?
what-
I'm terrible with names. So
He played the Beast.
Okay. I know the guy.
Yeah.
I don't
You guys
have
don't really know how to feel about him as an actor. You guys
Yeah.
haven't seen much of him.
I don't.
I
Yeah,
guess I don't have a lot to base it off of. But
I
I
don't
guess
have
it'd
any.
be. I feel like in comparison to the other two, at least, you'd have a lot more of a serious role. I'd say, like you'd try to kind of tone it down for the audience, if that's a good word for it.
create a balance.
Create a balance. There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what else he's been in. He was in Mad Max, Fury Road. He was that crazy guy. Did you guys watch that one?
I have, but it's been a while ago.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been in anything recently. Just the X-Men movies. Warm Bodies. Have you guys seen Warm Bodies?
Warm Bodies.
Zombies.
Yeah, it's familiar.
Ring a bell.
I don't remember anything about that movie though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. For me, with him, he's an okay actor.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not really familiar with Renfield. Like to be truthful, I've never heard of that character ever. So
Yeah.
this is based on, I guess, a story by Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead.
Okay.
So, I guess we'll see from his past track record. You know, he did Outcast. I don't know if you guys seen that show. I think it was on Cinemax. That was a really cool show.
I feel like he did one more thing that really rings a bell, but I forgot what else the main thing.
The Invincible series. It's an animated series. Everyone was talking about it last year. I think that's what it was called.
What's his name again? I'm just going to look him up really quickly.
I think Robert Kirkman. But yeah, from his past track record, I think this is going to be solid.
Yeah. I actually also haven't heard of Renfield, except with one exception. I have a game. It's a board game. It's called Horrified. It's all of the Universal monsters from the early monsters like Frankenstein, the Mummy, all of those characters. And one of the characters in that game, they're called villagers, and one of them is Renfield. And that's the only time I've ever heard of Renfield. So I would have never heard about him if it wasn't for that game.
As for filmography, I feel like I do not know Kirkman at all, so I cannot judge anything off of it, to be completely honest here.
Oh, okay. But yeah, and I'm also familiar with the Universal monsters, but Dracula has always been like one that I've skipped. I've
Yeah.
always loved the Frankenstein,
Yep.
Wolfman. Those have always been Creature from the Black Lagoon. Those have
Yeah.
always been like the ones that I always watch during the spooky season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. And Frankenstein was one of the early horror movies that I watched, like before I really got into the horror genre. Like I was trying to see what came first, and I watched Frankenstein, and I really enjoyed it. Like it's obviously only an hour long. It's a short movie, but I really enjoyed what they did for that hour. And Frankenstein, I don't know, I just love Frankenstein. He's probably my favorite Universal monster, to be honest. And I'm kind of the same as you with Dracula. And I don't know why, I've never really gotten into it. I don't know what it is exactly, but yeah, never got into Dracula.
What about Bram Stoker's Dracula, the one with Gary Oldman? Have you guys seen that one?
I have seen it.
I have not actually.
That's a classic one, and I do really enjoy that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, to be honest, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I do I love that movie, not gonna lie. And the role was done so well.
Yeah, like from the original Universal monster movie, and that one I would always choose the from what's his name? Francis Coppola directed Dracula. So I would always choose that one rather than the Universal monster movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
All right. Well, that's everything in regards to Renfield. That's our only news for today. So let's go ahead and get into another topic. What we're going to be talking about is what were some of our favorites for the year, since we're nearing the end, and what were our most disliked films. So let's go ahead and get that started. Let's start off with Tucker. What was your favorite? Or what was let's start off with one favorite.
Okay. One of my favorites, and we've kind of already talked about it a bit, is Malignant. Malignant for me was just such a fun experience, I guess. And I went into it pretty much completely blind. I tried not watching any trailers or anything. And I think that's what a lot of people had problems with. They watched the trailers and were expecting a totally different tone to the movie. And people were probably expecting another Conjuring movie, just like that paranormal aspect and stuff. And with Malignant, I just found that I had a lot of fun with it. And we even rewatched it because we wanted to do the drinking game we made. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun with that. Even we watched it with a few friends. They really enjoyed it too. Mm-hmm. And I just loved the amount of controversy or separation that the horror community had with it. So many people were talking about it, and I don't know, the twist in the end, I really enjoyed how that was executed. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of the movie, there was a lot of the movie I couldn't pick a lot of things that I didn't like about the movie. Yeah. Other than the fact that the lights were flickering and we don't know why. Because it was is he supernatural or is he real? It's kind of, there's a few things like that, but I just kind of brushed past that, and I could look past it.
How he was able to talk through the phone and
all that stuff. We're how does he do that? But I don't know. Besides that, I didn't have
in the beginning. Remember, right? What the scientists they said that they explained it the best that they could. They just said, "Oh, he's able to mess with the electrical fields and he's turning on the lights."
But it made it feel so supernatural when it really wasn't.
Yeah, It was a supernatural slasher, but the only reason it was supernatural is because of the way he messed with the electricity and whatever. Yeah. And I don't know, that was a minor thing in my eyes, and I really had fun with the movie.
It's for example, if you watched Us, it's like
Mhm.
so take the underground tunnels for example. If you think about it too much, it really doesn't make sense, and it takes away a lot from the film. If you really think about like what are the underground tunnels there for? How does nobody know about this? You just stop thinking about that part and just like enjoy the movie for what it is. Really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's my opinion on like that whole like electric thing, and that's why people saw in the trailer like, oh, it's supposed to be supernatural, right?
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
why they would have thought it was like a classic James Wan movie where it's all supernatural or paranormal or something. But
Yeah, and they were like, what's a giallo film?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see why people thought the trailers were a bit misleading.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, they definitely steered people in the wrong direction with the trailer, and I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
I guess with James Wan, this was kind of like a passion project for him, and he kind of told the studio, "Let me do what I want," and he just kind of had free reign at it. And his intention wasn't to make millions and millions of dollars off of it. He just wanted it was a passion project, and I think that came across in the movie. Like he wasn't just pandering to the audience; he was trying to do his own thing and make a new original horror idea, and I think he'd executed
I'd
it
say he
great.
tried to make it almost an old original horror idea. It's weird.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like redone under
Mhm.
classic idea or whatever.
Now that chase sequence was really good. I like
Yes.
the way
yeah.
he shot that. There was a lot of fog. Where's that fog coming from? But
Yeah.
it just set the mood for
Oh, yeah.
that scene. And I think it's one of the best chase scenes I've seen in not only a horror movie, but action
general.
movie too.
Yeah.
I think it
And
was very well done.
that's just another thing about Gabriel. That wasn't like there was no CGI involved with that. It was an actual like contortionist or whatever
Mhm.
playing Gabriel. And like
Yeah.
I loved the idea of how like, when you saw Gabriel running, he was running backwards. And it was actually a person doing that, but it looked unnaturally
like,
natural.
especially like the crab walk
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
under that little area there.
Yeah, when they crab walked
Yeah.
her and
Oh yeah, that part is so eerie the way it
yeah.
just falls through.
It's
through
just
that
so unsettling because the face is looking at you, but the body's backwards and they're still
Mhm.
moving like they're walking towards you, and it's uncanny valley, so it's unsettling,
Yeah.
And a lot of people like take issue with intent. Like, oh, did he intend to make it like this? Was he going for a serious film? Was he going for a
Yeah.
campy film? I'm like, look at that scene where the sister goes to the mental hospital. It's almost like a castle on top of a
Yeah. And she
of a
parks
hill,
like right beside the cliff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like that scene right there tells you exactly what type of film you're in for.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody in the theater, as soon as she's going to park on like the edge of the cliff, everyone's like, "What are you doing? Stop!" And then I watched it again with our friends. Exact same thing. They had the same reaction. It's like, I don't know why they did that. It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
And then you get the scene where she's like in a princess costume or whatever in the hospital, and like that is never come back to. Like, why is she in a princess costume? Oh, she
Yeah,
can't-
exactly.
It's just very random and out of place. But like, I don't know. For this movie, you just can't think about it too much. You just gotta let yourself sink into it and enjoy it for what it is. And that's what I did with it right from the beginning. So I guess that's why I enjoyed it more. I had high expectations because of it's James Wan. Like I said in the beginning, it's both of our favorite modern horror directors. So like I had high expectations, but also I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't expecting it to go a specific direction, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, Alex, what's one of your favorites?
One of my favorites. I know Tucker has yet to see this movie, but Censor is one of my favorite horror movies of 2021.
I haven't seen that one either, so you're
Oh
alone.
You guys are- so it's basically on like the horror nasties kind of back in Britain, where they banned a lot of videos, and then it's kind of that combined with kind of a girl's psyche, like what she thinks what's becoming reality, and do watching all these kind of like horror videos like really play a hand on anything, or is it just like kind of circumstantial? So like, for example, like one of the plot lines in the movie is, oh, this person murdered his whole family, and it's similar to another movie that was released. So people are kind of thinking they're related, but it turns out he didn't see the movie whatsoever. So it's just what causes people to be like that, and especially in that whole video nasties area. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, like any Grand Theft Auto games. Like you shoot people on the streets, do all this, but it's not the video games that make you violent. It's kind of like what goes on inside of your head. So it's one of my favorite horror movies of 2021 for sure. Definitely worth a watch.
So can you give like a little synopsis of like what it is?
So I guess what happens is a girl's sister goes missing when she's very young. She was there at the scene, but she basically remembers nothing from it. And then she's one of those video nasties who tries to ban content from videos, and she thinks she sees her sister in one of the videos. So she goes to investigate further, and it's basically all like, we're not sure if it's all in her head or she's actually seeing her sister. So it kind of leads down that path. So yeah, no, definitely one of my favorite horror movies of 2021 by far.
And that's one that it's been sitting on my list for several months at this point. Just I've been wanting to go and watch it. It's just it feels like we've been so busy recently and never got. There's so many movies in 2021 that I want to watch, and that being literally one of the top 2 or 3 that is on my list to watch. Just never got around to it yet.
Yeah.
All right, and then with streaming, it's like it feels like every week there's a new movie out. You got to check out.
Yes,
that's another thing. There's so many movies, and like you hear good things about something one week, then you stop hearing about it the next week, and it's something new. It's like, oh shit, I can't keep up to any of this.
Yeah, that plot kind of reminds me of not to go full circle with Nicolas Cage, but 8mm. Have you seen that? Where he finds a snuff film. He's trying to figure out if it's real. Have you seen that movie?
No.
The plot plot point sounds familiar, but the name doesn't ring a bell for me. So I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of another movie or something. But
probably Sinister.
It reminded me of Sinister and Censor a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, actually.
I think Sinister was inspired by 8mm.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I love Sinister. That's one of the modern horror movies that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. I love that movie. Just when he finds those snuff films and the music and just everything about like those little movies that he finds are just so eerie. I remember seeing that one in the theater and just feeling so uneasy.
Yeah. Well, and then the whole part of how like it's driving him mad, and you see that escalation through the movie as well. And it's obviously not the exact same, but it kind of reminds me of The Shining and how Jack Nicholson, you see his character just going crazy and crazier throughout the movie. And it just kind of reminds me of that, how we see what's his name? Ethan Hawke's character.
I don't remember what his name is in there.
Either way, we just see him, escalating into that madness and getting more and more crazy. And
something Oswald's.
Yeah, Ellison. That's what it is.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, once we get over to what we're excited for next year, I'll talk about a movie that he's going to be in next year.
I think we're all thinking of it. Yeah,
we are. Yeah,
exactly. So one of my favorites for this year is going to be Last Night in Soho.
Okay. Oh man,
we've been wanting to see that for a very long time.
I mean, as long as it's been out.
As long as it's been out, I guess I should elaborate. But yes, it's made by the same guy that did Scott Pilgrim and
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, yes.
And I'm a fan of his movies, and that's the main reason why I've wanted to go and see this. And now I've heard so many good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were honestly like this close to making a video on it, but then we chose to do something else instead. I forget what new movie. There was just so many new movies coming out at that time. We had to pick and choose what to focus on, but I don't know.
It's already out on demand, so if you guys end up watching it, you guys could definitely come up with, a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys could rewatch it over and over again. That's what I've been doing.
I'm definitely going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching it before the end of the year for sure, because I want to talk about it probably.
Yeah.
there's a few on my list that I want to see. I mentioned how Censor was in my top few. That, along with Last Night in Soho, is in the top 3 probably.
Yeah, I imagine you guys know what the movie's about, right?
Like the general idea, like we've seen
Yeah.
trailers for it,
Yeah,
but
because I don't want to spoil anything.
yeah, and been trying to avoid in-depth reviews on it just for the reason I don't want it to be spoiled or anything. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What would you compare it to if you had another movie to choose it from, I suppose?
To me, it's almost like in a class of its own. Like I don't really know what to compare it to because it's such a mix of genres. Like it doesn't really become a horror film until like the last half.
Okay,
that's kind of what it seemed like from the trailers and everything.
Yeah,
like
because, I guess they got to set everything up. You got to set the mood. And I think that's what Edgar Wright does very well in the movie because he like eases you into the horror. First everything is a pretty much like your brightest dreams. It's dreamlike, and then things slowly deteriorate. So it's such a mix of genres. I think it's in a league of its own for sure.
Nice,
definitely.
Yeah, that's something that I like hearing too. Is it's kind of unique in its own way, and it just makes me want to go and watch it more when I hear somebody say that about a movie. So, I mean, hearing that from you it makes me want to go and watch it tonight.
And I love mysteries, so there's a good mystery to it too. So if you guys are into, like movies that have a mystery, whodunit, things of that nature, it's really good.
Yeah. It feels like all like the movies that we kind of talked about, like here, like Censor and Malignant. It's all very hard to relate those movies as well. Like you can say, like Censor can kind of be related to Sinister in a way, or Malignant can be related to other giallo films, but they all are very unique in a sense.
Yeah, they're unique in their own way,
which definitely makes for a lot better horror films, especially in 2021, where you don't like to see like the same formula repeated over and over again. So I feel like it's those type of movies kind of make up the best ones that you can kind of get at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you have another one, Tucker?
Another one would be, which is another one we talked about, and that's the one you weren't a huge fan of. It's Candyman. That was one of my favorites of the year. And we kind of talked a bit about that already, but like, yeah, I don't know. I was really into the movie. And I think it's to do with the fact that I was just really big into Candyman at that time too. Like I was watching a whole pile of Candyman videos, watching people's reviews on the old one and the new one coming up, and like, just seeing all sorts of Candyman everywhere. So I was like pretty hyped for it. And I had high expectations, and then they met those expectations. So I was just satisfied altogether with it. And yeah, so it made it one of my top movies for 2021 for sure.
I see that. I was going to do a review on the series too. I ended up just doing the first one, and then something happened, but I wasn't able to proceed. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I heard, especially the third one, is pretty trash.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did too. Is we stopped after the first one, then just did the 2021 one.
Yeah, we did the original.
So good.
Oh yeah,
I hadn't seen that movie in a really long time, and rewatching it, I was just from the opening, like his voice.
Oh, it's
opening. It hits you right here. It's like, ooh.
Oh yeah,
so eerie.
Yeah, what's his name? Clive Barker. Clive Barker has a very unique storytelling for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Clive Barker is a horror genius for sure.
The first Hellraiser movie. I haven't really seen any of the other ones, but I heard like it gets very like straight to DVD at that point.
After 4, I think it goes to DVD. But yeah, I don't know. Just the original Candyman. My favorite thing about it is the score. That's one of my favorite things. It's so iconic. Yeah.
It's very fitting with the entire movie.
It's like it's eerie, like you said. The movie's eerie, and that soundtrack just makes it extra eerie, because if you just heard that on its own without any context, you wouldn't know, like you wouldn't think it's horror related necessarily. But in the context of that movie, it's strange in the best way.
I feel like it just works out so well. Like even like the dialogues or like just like the simple little things, just like it's always been you, Helen, and then you can just hear the music in the background. It makes a lot of the movie, and she's just like crying but hypnotized at the same time. But yeah, no, it's very well done for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, with the music, like it sounds like something that would come out of like a music box or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Tony Todd is just like so good in that movie.
And he appears like halfway through.
Yeah.
Like he isn't even in the first half. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really see him until that last half.
At least it's not the last 30 seconds like the new one.
Hey, that's one of your favorites.
It is.
Yeah.
But I like the romantic nature of the first one.
Yes.
Between the relationship between him and Helen. I thought that was very well done. I think I was kind of like missing something in regards to the relationship between the main character. What was his name? Do you know what his name was?
Anthony,
yeah. And Candyman. I wanted more of like a relationship, like it could have been like, like a father and son or something like that. Brotherly
reincarnation or anything like that.
Yeah,
just something for us to grab onto a little bit more.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of missing.
For me, I disagree because of the way that they had that reveal that Anthony was the baby that he was trying to sacrifice in the original, and I really liked that idea. And it kind of showed us the connection that Candyman has with Anthony. And I don't know, that was one thing I really liked about the movie. And yeah, I don't know. That's just my thoughts though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, overall, like I said before, I have like mixed emotions about it, but I'm glad you liked it.
But yeah.
What about you, Alex?
For Candyman?
Yeah, how did you feel about it?
Candyman, I'm kind of on the same boat with Tucker. I liked it I'd say just as much. Cinematography was great. If you were talking about the 92 one, the 92 one was very well done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I feel like the 92 one doesn't really, or I guess the new one doesn't really hold a candle to the 92 one in a sense.
I do love that shot in the beginning with the skyscrapers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a lot of the cinematography, like Alex said in the movie, is super good. And like just the
set design too, especially like them having to actually go to Chicago, like the suburbs of Chicago, and like paying people off to not interfere with their movie.
Cabrini Greens.
They had to actually go to Cabrini Greens and pay off gang members for them to not get involved with their movie.
Yeah,
and especially like all the myths with people coming out of the mirrors and killing people. That was an actual case, I think, in Chicago. Like how the mirrors could actually be removed. Like,
have you seen that TikTok video of that girl that removes in her apartment? She removes the mirror.
Yeah,
and there's another apartment right there.
Yeah,
I think I have. Why does it sound very familiar?
Yeah, it's a real thing, and it's
a real thing. That's how people actually commit murders.
It's kind of spooky.
Yep.
All right. Well, what's another film, Alex, how you like this here?
Another film. I'll cheat a little bit, but I won't cheat at all because you can kind of rank them the same. I'm going to say the Fear Street trilogy.
Oh, that's one of my picks too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Me, it's more specific, the part 2. What about you?
Okay. Part 2 is actually really good too. I feel like you can just kind of interchange them. I feel like it goes 1, 2, 3 for me. Even like I might even say like 2 and 1 are basically the same, but they're all very well done. It's nice to see some like familiar faces from like Stranger Things, for example. But the main thing that I love about it feels like as I said, like I loved like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark as a kid. It really reminds me of that, but like an R rating kind of. So for example, you see like them in like the store or whatever in part 1, and like the one girl gets her like head put through like
That's the best.
through
Bread
like
slicer.
a
The
bread
bread
slicer. That's what
slicer.
it is. And then you just didn't expect it to happen.
Oh, yeah.
it feels so much like a like an
Almost
R.L.
like a
Stein
kid.
book where
Yeah,
like nothing
kid.
happens, and like it's kids that just get mutilated. Even in part 3 where they get all their eyes gouged out. Oh my god.
And I think they did well with the casting because they almost felt like kids. The only one was the main character. What was her name? Can't think of it right now, but
Yeah,
I felt she was very out of place, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. She felt like she looked older, and she was giving off this voice, almost sounding like, what's his name, the Spider-Man,
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, almost
Oh,
sounding
okay.
like Tom Holland,
I only had
trying
2
to
more
sound like
lists
a
for the
kid, you know.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that kind of threw me off, but I think everyone else, they did really good with the casting. They did feel like kids.
Oh yeah, no, they did a great job actually.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of an unexpected hit for me. It came out of nowhere. Like,
yeah, and like so a lot of the other things you kind of hear from Netflix, like what's the other popular horror movies? Like we won't count Squid Game because Squid Game was after and Squid Game was good. We'll say like Bird Box is a really big thing. And people were like, oh my goodness, Bird Box, the new best horror movie, and then it was awful.
Yeah, hated it.
Yeah, that was kind of
yeah.
So yeah, it was
it's a
cool to
love-hate
see.
relationship with Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's almost
What were you gonna say?
for Netflix. It's almost like it's at the point where I'm like, I don't even want it anymore. And then they release like an awesome movie or an awesome series, and it's like, okay, they can keep me around for a bit.
I'm
But then
taking
they-
my money.
Yeah, exactly.
If you guys want to talk about TV shows that are horror, like Squid Game almost is horror, but like if you were to watch Midnight Mass is also really good, which
Midnight
is
Mass. Love
kind
it.
of relevant just because it's Mike Flanagan, and Mike Flanagan's done a lot of great things
Oh, yeah.
recently.
We could bend the rules. We got a TV show as well.
Maybe I would have said Midnight Mass then, but
I thought that was very well done. A lot of people hate on monologues. What do you want?
it was a
in
lot of
in a
monologues.
movie?
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, you want really good dialogue, right?
Yes.
You want to.
Yeah. No,
like-
yeah, continue.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, Mike Flanagan is very good for creating his characters. Like you've seen that in a lot of things, such as like Oculus. You've seen it in Gerald's Game, in Haunting of Hill House. Like he's very good at like creating a world for his character. Even like Doctor Sleep, like he's very good for fleshing out his characters. I think even like it's almost like a trope, but not I wouldn't say a trope, but like nobody is better than making you feel connected to a character than Mike Flanagan, I'd say.
Yeah, he's very good at that. Have you seen Hush?
Oh
Yes, Hush was another one I was about to bring up, but I didn't.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Like,
love
there's
that movie.
so few characters in that movie, but it keeps you, hooked throughout the whole
Yes.
movie,
One, it all takes place in the one setting, and the fact that they don't leave that house or anything, it's like it's such a simple movie, but it's done so well that it just hooks you.
Yeah, very little audio. Like that's a very weird concept too to think of as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of similar to A Quiet Place in a way, honestly. In that regard, at least.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan, I think he's pretty much owning this, generation of horror currently. Him and James Wan for sure. I feel like James Wan, he with each film that he does, it like issues in almost like a new subgenre or a new type of making. Like with The Conjuring, we started getting a whole bunch of ghost movies. When Saw came out, there's a bunch of the torture porn movies. A lot of people were inspired by that. I wonder if that's going to happen with Malignant, but I don't know. It was very.
I hope not. I really hope there is not a sequel to Malignant.
But maybe people are going to be inspired by it, and we'll see like a bunch of
see similar movies to it.
slashers of that vein. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But him and Mike Flanagan, they're pretty much owning this generation horror. I can't really think of another horror director, maybe Ari Aster.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say, actually. Ari Aster and Edgars. I forgot his name. Robert Edgars. They
Edgars,
released
yeah.
2 movies that were both very good, in my opinion. So I kind of want to see how they progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Midsummer by Ari Aster is, if it's not only one of my favorite modern horror movies, but it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
It's
even.
so well done, yes.
Like, just because of how rewatchable it is for me. But yeah, Ari Aster is one that I'm watching very closely for whatever he releases.
No, Ari Aster especially is like one of my horror directors to watch for sure.
Like, he knows what emotion to hit.
Oh yeah,
in his films, like the beginning of Midsummer, it felt very Hereditary, and it really hit an emotion with me because I've kind of dealt with that in my family before. So it's like he knows how to set up a scene like that, and not have it be how do you say, not overwhelming, but like do enough that it sends the message.
He knows how to make your heart sink, make you feel dread for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. He's so good at that. And he talked about, I think it was like some interview where they put like this noise in the background of certain scenes to like, I guess it scientifically it raises up, I don't know what, serotonin or whatever in your brain, but it really helps to, he said it really gives a reaction in scenes like that.
Yeah, I heard about that too, and I found that really interesting. And it's not something that you can like actually hear, like you wouldn't notice it happening, I guess. But it's interesting. It's an interesting idea that a sound that you don't actually notice or pay attention to or anything can make you feel that sort of way, and like it just makes your emotions go like escalated or exaggerated, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting to hear about, I guess.
Yeah, I remember seeing that scene in Hereditary. I did not know what I was getting myself into watching Hereditary. I think all of us could say that. When it came to that scene, you know what I'm talking about, I was like,
what
the heck?
That was shocking.
Like, I came in there with popcorn, a drink, and I was like,
it was shocking. Like everything just stopped. The music, like everybody's actions, everyone was just looking at the screen in shock for sure. One of the heaviest hitting scenes in like the 2010s easily.
Oh yeah, and then just the dread that you see that like the other characters going through. You see her brother going into his room, not saying a word. He basically just blank face. He doesn't have any emotion. He's not feeling anything because he's just in shock. And then the mom finds her in the car, and you just hear her. It's like it hits so hard. Even just talking about it now gives me chills. And like, I'll be honest, the first time I watched Hereditary, I didn't like it, but then I don't know why, because I rewatched it and like paid super close attention to it, and like I actually really enjoy it now. And I think I didn't know what to expect the first watch around, and like I don't know, it was just too complex or something, and I wasn't really grasping it. But the second watch I had with it, like you were saying, he just does such a good job at making you feel those emotions, and I now appreciate it for what it is.
And he's so good at setting everything up. Like you could see the dominoes in Hereditary, you could see the dominoes in Midsummer. The writing's all on the wall.
Literally.
Literally, yeah, exactly.
And that's another thing I love about the way he did Midsummer. You could just pause the movie right when you see that painting. It just tells you.
And it tells you like what's about to happen.
It tells you every segment of the movie, and it's like, okay, I guess I don't need to watch this 2-hour movie.
You see the girl peeing in the cup, you like notice that like one of those cups is a little bit more red than the others. And then when you point that out to a crowd, it's like, oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah, there's just so much. And like I said before, that's why I love Midsummer. You can watch it so many times and you find new things about it that you didn't see the first 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Fear Street, I really did like the second one, and I'm a slasher lover. What's your guys' favorite subgenre? If you guys had to pick.
For me, I know right off the bat it's body horror.
I
Body horror.
can't really say. Like, I love the genre a lot. I'd say maybe psychological.
Psychological horror.
I'd say psychological, but honestly, anything could probably take its place. Like, that's why I'm a big fan of like Mike Flanagan's films, such as like Oculus. But it's very open for me, I'd say.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, I've always loved slasher films. That's what got me into horror. So the part 2 of Fear Street felt like a love letter for slasher films. So I think
Definitely,
that's why
yes.
that one really appealed to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I thought, is her name Sadie Sinks, who plays?
Sadie Sink, I think. Yeah, that
Sadie
plays
Sink, yeah.
the ginger, the
Yeah,
main
the
character.
ginger.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, I thought she was really good. She was a really good final girl.
Yeah.
My main thing with that one is I wish they would have put the sack on his head a lot earlier.
Yes.
But-
Yeah.
But although I think the guy, oh, it's awful. I don't have the names of the actors, but the guy that played the Axe Man, I thought he was really good. He was pretty menacing.
Yeah. I feel like he played a good part for the most part. They described the backstory a little bit too much, but going into it, you knew that like something was going to happen to him to basically just make him like a senseless killer. So I like that they set that up a little bit. So he didn't really have like a backstory in that sense, but there was still a way to prevent it. Either way, like the good thing about making that backstory is like you see the girlfriend's like former lover just kind of like deal with like her new boyfriend being like a serial killer, killing her ex-friend's boyfriend, all that type of thing, trying to kill her sister. So I feel like that part's interesting for the most part, for sure. Especially since like you recognize the face, but at the same time, it doesn't have an identity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It
And
has kind of the
kind of-
same thing. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
It has kind of the same thing as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where Leatherface puts on somebody else's face, and you see like your boyfriend's face, but it's actually just a deranged killer.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you feel for that character, that's being taken over by, whatever malevolence force it is. And then I like that they actually went ham. They killed some kids.
Yes, they
like,
butchered
what?
some kids.
We're gonna kill some kids. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
What do
not
you
your
guys-
typical like Goosebumps story.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think of Lee Janiak as a director so far?
That's the woman that wrote part 1 and 3. Did she write 2 as well?
Yeah, she did all of them.
Okay, she did do all of them. I know. Did she do something else? I could have sworn.
I could look it up, but
I could have sworn she did something
she did
else.
all 3. I think they filmed the third one first, and then after
Yes.
that they did the second one, and then they finished with the first one.
Yes,
At least I think that's how they did it.
they did a stellar job. Like she did a stellar job though. Like I was very impressed, especially for like a Netflix special, as we were saying. Like especially after things like Bird Box, I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and it was a lot better than it should have been. Than it had any right to be, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, let me jump in real quick. So she's done some episodes of the Scream TV series.
That's the other
Okay.
place I knew her from. Yes.
She's done, I guess, a new series called Panic that's on Amazon Prime. And she actually did an episode on Outcast, that show I was talking to you
Yeah.
guys about that Robert Kirkman did.
Okay.
She did an episode. And then the movie Honeymoon. Oh, have you guys seen that movie?
I have not known.
No, I haven't seen it either.
She did that one. That's the first movie she did, kind of put her on the map. But yeah, that's her filmography.
Yeah.
So far.
Like I know the Scream like TV series. It was the first season I feel like was well done. The second season could have done without. I haven't even seen the third season because of the second season.
Yeah,
but
I heard the third season's horrible.
The third season
Right.
apparently had nothing to do with the second. So
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, no, I thought the first season of Scream was pretty well done. And I can see the similarities for sure. Especially like since they are both kind of slasher movies. They're both like I'd say almost teenage slasher movies. Like they're in high school, everyone's friends, everyone's making love to each other. But there's all that. I can see the similarities for sure. Kind of same setting, same. I'd almost call it like kind of a Goosebumps type of feel. Like it's a kid horror. It's a horror movie horror TV show written for teenagers for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely wondering what she's gonna do next. So,
Oh yeah,
that put her on the map for me.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
Let me see. So you took one of mine. So I had to look for another one. Oh, so one that I really liked was The Night House.
The
You
Night
guys see
House.
The Night House?
Okay, so we got a recommendation from a friend who told us not to watch it, so we didn't watch it.
Well, that's not why I didn't watch it. I just never got around to it. It's one of those movies that
It's another movie that I do have to watch.
Yeah.
To be fair. So you like The Night House from what I hear. So now I guess I have more incentive to watch it.
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely love that movie. Yeah, it's
Like-
definitely one of my favorites and probably one of the top for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
think you
another-
guys should check it out.
Is it another one that like is it pretty complex and it's one that you have to kind of like really pay attention to appreciate and understand? Because
Yes, it would definitely help to pay attention to it. Yeah,
yeah, well no, it's, yeah. Because
yeah, I know what you mean.
I
Yeah,
think that's
it's another film like Hereditary or
yeah.
in that vein. It's definitely another film about loss, things of that
Okay, yeah.
nature.
So
Very dark themes. So
I think
Yeah.
that's why our friend told us not to watch it because he didn't understand what was going on, and he's
Yeah.
just kind of like it's too confusing. I had to know what's going
Yeah.
on, and he might just not have paid attention
Yeah.
to it or whatever. I don't know.
From what it seems like does it draw similarities from like Coraline? If you've ever seen Coraline,
Coraline, I guess
like
Yeah,
how
I
there's
feel
kind of like two parallel worlds next to each other.
I kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something that makes I don't want I don't want to do spoilers. I was about to explain it and it was gonna go into spoilers.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like how to explain it. There's just yeah, kind of think of it like, a little bit of a parallel world. A little bit. Everything's in reverse and she starts noticing this other house, everything's backwards, the numbers are backwards. And yeah. Yeah, think of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
not claymation. Was Coraline claymation?
I believe so. Yes. If
Well,
not,
yeah.
could have fooled me. Has that whole Tim Burton look?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing it, even despite his review. I just never got around to it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I say definitely check it out. If you like movies like Hereditary, Midsommar, what's another movie that's in that vein of moody, dark type of film.
Yeah.
If you're into that, I think you'll at least find it okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I would at least enjoy it. Honestly, there's not a lot of movies that I don't get something out of. Like a lot of even I just go into a movie and I kind of just shut off my brain and watch it and
Mhm.
enjoy it for what it is. There's not a lot of movies where I actually hated it or disliked or it's just nothing pisses me off that much, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms
Yeah.
of movies, I can appreciate almost everything.
Well, yeah, it's from David Bruckner. He did The Ritual. Did you guys see that movie on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
He's done some segments on some other movies. Like he did a segment on VHS.
okay.
Okay.
He's done just other segments. I think the only other full-length movie was The Ritual. I think.
Okay. Yeah. No, I enjoyed The Ritual pretty thoroughly, to be honest. It had a lot of character development too, which I really liked. The Ritual was very well done.
But yeah, what's her name? The main actress in The Night House. What's her name? I always get her confused with someone else.
I can put a
Rebecca
face to
Hall.
it. Oh, okay.
Rebecca
What's the name?
Hall.
Rebecca
She's
Hall.
she's really good in the Night House. There's some very weird scenes.
I like
I
weird.
think you guys should definitely check it out. Definitely check it out.
I'm sure we will. Especially now with you telling us
Yeah.
you're hyping it up.
Oh, I don't want to hype it up too much, but yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure. Probably top 3.
Okay.
Okay,
say.
nice.
Hyping it up even more. All right. Did you guys have any other favorites that you wanted to throw out there?
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I guess an honorable mention for me would be Antlers. I thought I should throw that out there.
Antlers.
I liked Antlers a lot. It was different. It was a very slow burn, but I was in for it. Like, I liked it. They kept me engaged, and just the whole commentary on abuse and everything they handled so well, I think. And yeah, they did a really good job.
They did a lot of things without even like specifically saying anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they were really good with that. As you guys know, I did a video on that.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we saw it. It blew up.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I really enjoyed Antlers. That's definitely one of my favorites for the year. My favorite Wendigo film I've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I'm trying to think of other Wendigo films. Oh, the Pet Cemeteries. I didn't like Pet Cemeteries too much.
Are you talking about the remake or
Both. I didn't like either of them too much, to be completely honest.
I definitely don't like the new one.
I didn't either.
Yeah, the new one. I was really interested in that movie too, and it really let me down when I watched it. When did that come out? 2018 or 17?
I want to say like 2018, like around the same time Suspiria did, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was really excited for that one, and that one did let me down. And the trailer, that's one where the trailer it just gave everything away.
Yeah, goes nowhere.
Because they changed some aspects to this film to that film from the original movie or the story, and they gave it away in the trailer. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
why would you do that? Like the thing that was different about your film, you're showing it in the trailer.
Yeah, a lot of movies seem to do that, and I'll never understand why, but it happens.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we got Lost in the Reel came in. Hey fellas, how's it going?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Thanks for tuning in. Nice to
thanks
see
for
you.
stopping by. And then anything else in regards to favorites of the year?
Favorites of the year. I don't really have too much after that, to be honest.
Yeah, not at the top of my head. There's so many that I want to get to, and I'm sure my top 3 will change after seeing some more of these movies. But like, as it stands right now, it's kind of what it is.
Are you guys going to do a list on your channel?
We do plan on it, yeah.
We've already planned on it, yes.
All right, awesome.
Coming out at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to give a few, that way we're not throwing everything out there.
Oh yeah, and honestly, the top might change from, like I said, some of these movies that we're going to be watching in the next month. But
yeah, like after a rewatch, sometimes,
yeah, that's
can change.
That's the other thing, yes.
And then, so now let's go ahead and get into our least favorites of the year. So what do you guys have with that? Let's start off with Alex this time.
Least favorites of the year. So I know we were talking about quite a few before. A lot of the sequels that had no right of being sequels for sure. So like we'll say Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions. We had a lot to say about it on our channel. It might even be like one of our most it might even be one of our longest videos. And it was basically just Tucker and I ranting about the problems with the movie.
That's the one where we ranted the most.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had no right to exist because the way the first one ended, they were going on a plane.
The plan was for them to go on a plane.
Yeah, and then
to go to the location, to the escape room.
And then the second one comes around and
basically it ends with them on a plane in
The exact same
the
way.
exact same scenario. So it's basically, it makes the whole second movie pretty much obsolete. Like, no important characters die or are found. I also heard that they made a director's cut or something on DVD that Tucker and I did not watch,
Yeah, that was
which
after.
makes it even more confusing, especially since the one we saw in theaters was straight garbage. So maybe we have to watch the digital copy and see how that is.
Well, I've
But
heard that the director's cut is a lot better, and they actually
change things.
They dive into what Wu-Tan Yu is and stuff, which we had no mention of Wu-Tan Yu.
Yeah, they didn't even mention Wu-Tan Yu in the sequel.
Yeah,
in the theatrical version, anyways.
but then having this director's cut throws a wrench in things. Like the way the second one ends, you think there's going to be another one, and so now are they going to base the third one off of the second one, the theatrical version? Are they going to base it off the director's cut? Are they going to just skip all that and base it off the first one and start on a plane again? Like, I don't know. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way that I escaped the movie, especially trying to make it like a 3-film, 4-film, where you have to be caught up with everything, it feels like you could have just skipped the second one.
Yep.
Yeah. I think some of the rooms were pretty cool. I
rooms
like
were
the
definitely
beach one, and then the city one with the acid rain.
Acid Rain.
Yeah.
That was my
It
favorite
kind of
one.
doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, no, all the rooms are great. Like,
Yeah.
I will never say that the rooms were bad in that. Honestly,
Like, and that's kind of why the first one was so good, because the rooms like were interesting. You wanted to see what the rooms were next. But then when the second one comes around, you know what to expect, how they're going to go into separate rooms and be different rooms for each one. And you kind of want to see something. Like you want to see it expanded on. You want to see more of a story being told rather than just seeing more rooms.
and you do see a lot more story being expanded on in the first one, for example. Like, you see how all of them have traumatic experience being survivors, and in this one, like, they're all champions. They've won an escape room before. Yippee-ki-yay. That's basically it. It's like, I'm a priest.
Yeah. Like we don't,
I'm
get
an
a,
alcoholic.
we don't
now.
learn a lot about the characters like we do in the first one. Yeah, that's another point.
And then, like, since they are, ones that have won before, it's like the way they die. It's like you would think they would put up more of a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. It kind of just seems like it happened so quickly.
Mhm.
And even with that alcoholic priest, that's another thing. There's an alcoholic in the second one and an alcoholic in the first one. But
Yeah.
that priest he kind of just sacrifices himself, and for no real reason. I don't know. It just happened very suddenly and very fast.
A lot of things feel very forced. So, like, for example, the scene where the two people die, the content creator and the person who couldn't feel pain, how they died together, and they just basically couldn't get into the cab. I feel like it was just something that they were like, let's just kill them off now. Like, they didn't really have a chance. That's what I hated about it.
Yeah. And even the twist felt forced to me.
It felt really forced.
Oh, yes. That was very forced. That was the main thing that, like,
Yeah, that was what, like, up until that point, I was kind of like, okay, the rooms are keeping me in it. They're engaging me. I was kind of like, it's middle of the road. But then
that moment just killed it. For
Yeah.
me.
yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, you had killed off a character and now they're back.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
And that's
Not
why
to mention another one. I was like,
There was a lot of death.
at the very beginning, they show like a scene with her. And it's like, I don't remember this in the first movie. Like, they're not like, we saw her die. There's no way they bring her back, and they bring her back. And so, like, everything we know in the franchise is basically a lie to us now. So anybody can come back at any time.
For
so
all we know,
like,
none of them ever died, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Once you take away that factor of characters not dying or possibly still alive, it just takes away all.
Yeah, like the entire story just doesn't have meaning at then, because there's no consequences.
Yeah, they just changed the rules to from the first one that they set.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What about you, Tucker? What's one of your worst for the year?
That one was definitely one of them. And then another one that comes to mind is another sequel, Don't Breathe 2. I was super disappointed with it.
Oh, okay.
I think
That was one that I actually liked.
okay.
Oh,
It's kind of like roles reversed with Candyman. You weren't the biggest fan. I really liked it.
yeah.
Did that way with Don't Breathe 2. For me, I don't know, like they just tried to make this horrible, horrible monster who's like a rapist and a murderer and stuff. And then all of a sudden now he's like, they try to make you feel sorry for him and empathize with him and stuff. And I hated that part about it. And like with Phoenix, I feel like she should have been a lot more involved than she was.
She felt like a damsel in distress despite having all of this like survivalist training. Right?
Exactly. She had so many survivalist stuff taught to her from the old man. And we never really got to see her use those survivalist skills. All she did was hide for the most part.
Yeah.
So I really would have liked to see.
Those were good hiding skills, you guys.
Yeah,
Well,
like
she was good at it.
Very good at like being like athletic and like hanging onto the railings and jumping down. Like her stealth was good, but like other than that, like what did she have to show? Like nothing.
In that
Yeah.
scene, I really like how they did where it appears like a one shot, right? That way you get,
Yeah.
you know, a
Yeah.
view of the layout of the house when she's trying to hide.
And I will say, like I was kind of saying earlier, I can watch pretty much any movie and still get something out of it. It's not like I absolutely hated this movie and, you know, I was kind of disappointed in watching it. Like I wish I never watched it. I'm glad I at least watched it. And it's not like I probably won't go back to it, honestly, but I'm glad I did watch it at least rather than just writing it off and never going to see it. But yeah, I was not too impressed. Like I thought the first one was middle of the road, and I didn't go into the second one with too high of expectations. But even with such low expectations, I thought it was kind of, it could have been handled a lot better, I think. And even the reveal, you know, with the hair, I wasn't a fan of that. It kind of felt forced.
So forced.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. For me, I thought it felt forced.
Oh, okay. See, that aspect I actually really enjoyed. I love the scene in the basement. There's a lot of scenes, you know, that I enjoyed in the movie.
Yeah.
The fight scene in the basement I thought was pretty intense. And then the whole entire what they want her for, I thought was pretty depraved and just felt very grindhouse to me. The whole entire film, just like the first one, felt very grindhouse. This one felt like a machete. Have you guys seen that movie, Machete?
Oh, I've seen it years ago, but
nope.
This felt like, you know, you're getting behind this anti-hero and they're doing they're doing horrible things to these other messed up people. And, you know, when you find out what they're actually going to do with her, I thought it was pretty depraved, and I actually liked it. I was like, wow, okay, this is it's not up to par with, you know, with the first one, with what he was doing to, you know, that girl that he kept in the basement, but the turkey baster scene. But you know, I thought it was like as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the good news is you can like at least kind of relate to the old man. Not really relate, but like kind of like see what he's getting at for the most part. Whereas in the opposite, you can't really see that in this movie. Like they're trying to steal a little girl's heart. Like there's no real justice in that. Where like for example, like you think like impregnating a woman who killed my daughter, like you can see it. It's not just, but you can see like the thought process behind it.
Well, I think the thought process was was like it was her mother's heart, so obviously it would be a match or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get the thought process. I just felt like it could have been executed better. I don't know. And another thing for me as to what I didn't like about it was the death scenes. I felt like they were very rushed, and also they didn't show you much, I think. Like, for example, the one guy, when the old man's laying in the water and he throws whatever at him, and you see that whole scene play out in the trailer. And I was just like, oh, they didn't add anything to it in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
And I was
also
disappointed
Was
with
it a
that.
hammer or something that he throws
Yeah,
at
I
him?
think it was a hammer. And you don't actually see it hit him. You know, obviously it's implied it hit him. And I just really wish you would have seen those deaths, or the guy who gets his mouth glued. I wish I would have seen that happening, or at least like hearing it happening, and rather than just cutting to him and showing his mouth is glued, it's like, oh, okay. I didn't really feel for that
went
character.
all the way with it.
I wish, that's it. And yeah, like I said, a lot of those scenes you saw in the trailers. So that's another thing that disappointed me.
Yeah. I enjoyed it for the most part. The first film, of course, I enjoyed it a lot more. I think the first film was like one of the best cat and mouse movies that's come out in a very long time. Just with the intensity, that the shocking scene when he kills the boyfriend.
Money.
And, Money. Yeah, exactly. When he kills him, and everything shit hits the fan. They're trying to figure out what the hell to do. And it's another film where it's only a few characters, and it keeps you focused the entirety of the film.
Yeah. And I like the whole motive with the characters in the first one and stuff. Like, they have a reason for breaking into this guy's house, and it's a pretty simple reason, but it serves its purpose. And I don't know.
It keeps you on your toes with the morality. You're like, oh, they're breaking into this old man's house.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys. And then
exactly
now it's like, oh shoot, this old man is doing some horrible things.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like kind of the same thing happens in both movies. So like you're at the beginning, you're like, oh, of the second movie, like fuck the old man, just because of what happened in the first movie, and then you find out the people trying to kidnap him only want the little girl for her heart. So it's like,
and you don't know who to cheer for again.
Yeah.
So I think they really balance it well with that dilemma, with the viewer. Fede Alvarez, he didn't direct this one.
They switched with the writer. They switched roles. It was really strange to me, but.
And if you look at a lot of when they were doing interviews and stuff, Fede talks the most. In the writer or in the actual director is kind of like in the background, but
what do they do? Evil Dead, the new
new Evil Dead.
That's one of my favorites.
The new Evil Dead was
one of my favorites
well
for the 2010s.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I remember the lead up to that movie, seeing the Red Band trailer, and just waiting for that film, and it paid off for me. I really liked it.
Oh yeah, it was a solid movie. A good remake.
One of the better remakes for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what he's gonna be up to next, but he's another director to watch, in my opinion.
I could have sworn he was in something. Oh, he did something else. No, I don't think so. But off the top of my head. But yeah, no, like just the way that Evil Dead was, like definitely look out for this guy.
So one of my least favorites was Wrong Turn. Did you guys see that one?
No, because I know how bad it's going to be, and I love the Wrong Turn franchise. I've been avoiding that one like the plague.
It's not horrible. Like, it's not like, the movies after 2. Did you guys like Wrong Turn 2? Dead End? I think that's what it was called.
I pretty much enjoy putting on all of the Wrong Turn movies. Like, they're not good movies by any means, but they're fun for me.
Like, the quality takes a dip, after.
Oh yeah,
sure. Even the second one has a quality.
Oh yeah, dip, absolutely.
Especially after that one, the quality just dips. It's not like that. This one is competently made. It's just like everything else. Like, it lost the spirit of Wrong Turn,
Okay.
Right.
And what direction they end up going in was the wrong direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They took a wrong turn, but what they end up doing, I don't know if you guys want me to spoil it for you. I don't know if you guys are
not gonna lie, I don't care.
I'm kind of on the same boat. Yeah, go for it.
Well, what it is there's this older civilization that it was these people from the Civil War decided to make their own settlement and not move forward with the war and live off the grid. And now they're like almost like Neanderthals. And these teenagers come across them, and they're the, I guess the baddies of the film. But they try to come up with this dilemma, or put the audience in a dilemma where one of the main characters ends up killing one of the, the people from the settlement, and they try to do this whole entire thing where it's like, you killed our person, now we get to, you guys are upheld to our laws, this and that. But just earlier in the film, they killed one of them, like one of them in the group. It's like, what are you even talking about? They try to do this. Oh, the one of the teenagers killed one of their people. Maybe it is just that, they do this to them. But no, one of their friends dies in the beginning of the film by like a giant tree.
Yes, it was the tree.
Rolls down and kills him. It's like, what? And you find out that they're being watched the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you trying to do? I think they went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it's basically they invade like an Amish community. That's what I'm getting from it.
They're almost like medieval, or like, not medieval, but
like a much stupider Amish community.
They have bow and arrows, they have axes, things like that.
Okay.
So it just like kind of like, that we had inbred hillbillies. They're inherently kind of creepy,
Yeah.
But these people that they wear deer skulls or whatever on their heads, stag heads. But it's like they're just people,
Yeah.
But other than that, they reference it a little bit, but it's not anything that the inbred hillbillies are in this world. They're like, it's just this settlement. But yeah, that's one of my worst. What about you, Alex? Do you have another one?
Do I have another one? Give me a second. I'm just going to take a quick peek. I have a little bit of a list.
How about you, Tucker? Do you have one in mind?
Just horror movies.
One that comes to mind that I was kind of disappointed in. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and I was kind of going in blind with it. But it was Jacob's Wife. I wasn't the biggest fan of it in general. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of not the biggest fan of vampire movies. And so it just didn't really do anything for me. And the special effects were just so cheesy and they didn't look great. But I don't know.
Is that on Shudder?
Yes,
Shudder.
I believe it
Shudder,
is.
yeah, it was on Shudder. I think it was a Shudder exclusive, maybe. But either way, I wasn't very impressed with it. And I don't know, I was kind of just bored throughout the whole thing, personally.
So I have seen Jacob's Wife, but I actually disagree. I like Jacob's Wife.
Yeah, and I know you.
It sounds funny.
Yeah.
So, I like Jacob's Wife.
Have you seen it?
No, it just sounds funny.
Oh,
I like
okay.
Jacob's Wife.
Imagine vampires except rats. Like it's a little bit of a comedy for sure.
There's rats involved. I wouldn't say that it's like that. Like that's how it's started, but that's not how the whole movie is.
I made a joke halfway through the movie. And it's like, oh, it's rat pyres, and then it actually was, and I thought it was hilarious.
So they look like rats, or
so like the main like vampire type of person,
teeth,
it has like these like little rat teeth in her mouth. I don't even know if it's a guy or a girl. It's a very ominous type of gender thing. But either way, it looks so ridiculous that I love it.
And I feel the opposite. I hated it so much. I hate how the teeth look,
Yeah.
and like just in general. I don't know. I just wasn't into it, and I honestly don't even have that much to say about it. I just wasn't a big fan of it, and it's just one of those movies that's not my cup of tea. I guess it's not my taste.
And I had to catch up with a lot of films that came out on Shudder.
Yeah,
I feel like every month, right, they come out with another
Oh.
one,
it's insane.
another Shudder original. Yeah, I haven't watched that one, but I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it.
You can split the difference for us and see which one comes out on top.
Right?
You'll probably end up in the middle, and it won't help with anything.
Mhm. Okay. Did you come up with one, Alex?
So the other one that I really like, I couldn't really come up with one. I'll say one that I'm disappointed in, if that'll work. I was really disappointed in the new Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And the main reason behind this is I really, really like the 2018 version, and I feel like it had a lot going for it. Just its entire tone was very well, and the whole fact that like Michael Myers is just a killer and nothing else. Like there's no backstory behind him. It's like, oh, he just wants to kill Laurie Strode, and that isn't the case. He's just a senseless killer. I like that a lot more. And then in this, it's just it's way too fan servicey. It's what's his name? It brings Loomis back, which I like. The flashback scenes were great. I like those a lot. It brought back like Tommy Doyle. What's the other guy's name?
Oh,
Yeah, I can see that they did bring back a lot of characters.
Yes.
And
So many
They brought
returning
back at least like 4 characters. What'd you say?
yeah, I was just gonna expand. They bring back, in my opinion, too many characters. Like I like seeing Lindsay come back. I'm glad they did that. I don't hate this movie by any means. I had fun watching it, and the main thing for me that I enjoyed was the deaths. Some of the death scenes were insane, and like this is probably the most intense Michael Myers that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
In terms of like the most brutal, and like, you know, the gore was insane. The kills looked super good, and there was even a couple kills that were pretty comical, like when the girl shoots herself or whatever by accident. That made me laugh out loud. But like that was pretty much the main thing that kept me engaged in the movie was the kills. Aside from that, I wasn't the biggest fan of it either. Like I enjoyed watching it, but it was just middle of the road for me. And I do agree that it didn't live up to the 2018 one. It's a hell of a lot better. It's a hell of a lot better than a lot of the original sequels that we've seen in the past for the franchise. But
I think the main thing it had going against it is that we know that there's going to be 3 of them, and this is the middle film. And traditionally, the middle film is usually always the worst because it's having a, you know, it's a sequel, and then it has to set up for the third. And I think that was one of the main things going against it. But like you guys, I could see, you know, all the faults it has, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and I could see what they were going for. Even though it doesn't really land. I could appreciate what they were, you know, trying to go for.
Like I'll say that the first act was super good, and like it was keeping me super engaged, and I was like, you know, I was in for it at that point. But then as soon as the mob started getting shown, and like, you know, in the hospital scene, I hated that scene where they're, you know, in the hospital, the whole mob, it's just out of control. I just didn't like that whole aspect of the mob scene, I guess. I don't know. After that was introduced is when it started going downhill for me.
Yes, definitely. I agree. Like the first like third of the movie was great, but it just really fell off a cliff after that, in my opinion, anyways.
Fell off a building.
Yes, like like that guy.
Like for me, that was the weakest part of the film. Like I could see what they were going for, but
me too.
Just didn't stick the landing.
And who knows, maybe with Halloween Ends, it kind of ties it up nicely, and then if you go and rewatch those 3 movies back to back, you'll understand better and like it more. Who knows? I hope that is the case, but as it stands right now, I don't know. I don't know what to think for Halloween Ends, honestly, based on the way that one ends.
How do you guys feel about David Gordon Green as a director?
David Gordon Green as a director. First movie, the Halloween movie, very good. What else has he directed? Pineapple Express?
Yeah, he's done a lot of those.
He's done a lot of comedies, stoner comedy like that. And then, yeah, I
He's
think
done some dramas, like he did that one with Hugh Jackman. What was it called? Was it Hugh Jackman? I don't know. I might be talking out of my ass.
it's okay. We do that all the time. I think for the first one, he did a stellar job. Second one, he did an okay job. And for not having any horror experience before the first Halloween, like the 2018 Halloween, I think it was super impressive. And I think he can direct a good horror movie. And with Halloween Kills, because it's a sequel, it might be inherently harder to direct. And I mean, I know Halloween 2018 is still a sequel, but it's kind of a fresh start, whereas Halloween Kills is a sequel to that fresh start. So it might have been harder and too much of a challenge. I don't know. But I think he can do a good horror movie.
Yeah, to have a comedy background, like we said earlier, like comedy and horror, they kind of like elicit the same type. They get a reaction out of it. Audience, so.
Exactly. And I think that's why so many comedy directors can come into the horror genre and nail it.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the past movies he did was Stronger. It was with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, okay.
That's one of his bigger drama movies. It's about it's just like almost like a biographical film. And then he did Eastbound and Down, some episodes of that. Your Highness, everyone's favorite comedy. Pineapple Express, we said that. Yeah, so yeah, he has a more of a comedy background, but most of his films have like, some drama in it or some action. So I think, for him to go to horror, I think it was a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Danny McBride, he's a writer.
Oh yeah, yes. That's another one. It's kind of surprising because I guess the only other horror experience I can think of off the top of my head was in Prometheus or Alien versus Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
Covenant. That's what it was.
Yeah,
he was in that. I know, but other than that, I'm not sure what horror experience he had. But he's had a ton of comedy experience, and again, for him to come into the horror genre and write such a solid movie, he had a couple other people helping him, but it was done well, and it's surprising at face value, but when you really think about it, like we've mentioned, is comedy works with horror. So if you can write a solid comedy, you can likely go and write a solid horror. So it makes sense when you really think about it.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised how John Carpenter was, behind them. Maybe it was a little bit of money because he does love money. He's also doing the music for it. So
with his son, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, with his son. And Jamie Lee Curtis too. Like she was very happy to return, and I think she was well known for saying like, "I'm never going to return to this franchise."
Because
don't blame her.
She was so upset after Resurrection.
Yeah,
and like she was happy with H2O, and that was kind of her send off, and she thought the series should end it there.
She just wanted to die after H2O. Like she probably saw the script, like, just kill me.
Yeah, I'll be involved for a paycheck, but I'm dying in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you don't write me into another one of your garbage films, Resurrection.
The way she just goes mouth to mouth with Michael was just, Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah, it's I can't stand Resurrection.
I know. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into one of my almost a favorite. This is not a favorite for sure. Did you guys see Separation?
Separation, I have not.
I have not even heard of it actually.
Oh,
Actually,
thank God
yeah.
you guys haven't seen that movie. It is unbelievably bad. Like, it's so bad. I watched it in theaters. I had a feeling I wasn't gonna like it because I don't really like the director. He did The Boy and Brahms The Boy 2.
Boy
I
2.
always call it Brahms The Boy 2 because
Yeah.
they have a colon there. It's just funny. But it was just so bad. Did you guys see Brahms?
I saw the first one. I saw
Yeah.
The Boy.
That's same with me.
Did I even hear about Brahms? I don't even know what happens in Brahms actually, which I'm kind of surprised about.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard about it, and I was close to going to watch it, but I never did go end up watching it. Like, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of The Boy in general.
Probably the main reason I didn't go.
Yeah, and that's why I
The
didn't
Boy
go.
2 is because what do they expand on?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
yeah, they just totally retcon the original.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy, and it's the same director. It's like,
that's
what are you thinking?
That's
So,
strange.
Yeah, Brahms is pretty bad. This film was really bad.
And it had
oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it was released in theaters.
Yeah, it was released in
Oh,
theaters.
okay. I'm surprised.
I don't know if you guys saw the trailers at all. There's like this almost a mime-looking entity that's like contorting its body. You may have seen the trailers, may have not. But what it's about is there's this family. They're like going through a divorce. They're going to be separating, and the mom is she's in an accident. She gets ran over. So the father ends up staying with the daughter. They have a daughter together, and the father, he has this show that he used to do, and it had to do with like puppets, marionette puppets that he had. And what happens is there's an entity that comes and kind of takes over his puppets, and it creates these different creatures that visit him and his daughter, and they think it's the mom, but there's a twist ending that's really stupid. And the ending is just so bad. Like, visually, it's bad.
you can spoil it for us. I'd be fine with it if Tucker is.
I don't care.
Imagine like discount the Upside Down. Like,
discount the Upside Down.
yeah, the Upside Down and Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Think of it looking with a lot less money going into it.
Oh no.
Just visually, it's just very unappealing. And the ending it's bad.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
We're
Be
making
your
our
favorite. Don't watch it.
we're making our liquor list, but I don't think that will end up on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's become a trope with those contortionist type of, scary entities.
Yeah.
Like what we had in The Ring, The Grudge, things like that. And it's just tiresome, It's like we're in the 2020s now, That should be done with.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, do something different,
Well, that's what horror does. It goes through these phases, Like in the 80s, there was the slasher boom where there was a lot of great slasher movies, but like there was a hell of a lot of pile of dog shit with it. And it's kind of like like we mentioned, The Conjuring started the ghost movies. Then all these people were coming out with ghost movies and paranormal movies. And again, there's so much awful movies in there. And then, we go through the found footage craze from Blair Witch Project or even
And I'm
Paranormal
actually
Activity.
surprised that the found footage craze, did stop. Like I haven't seen a found footage movie in a while.
Yeah.
Like when I watched the new Paranormal Activity, I was like, I haven't seen, a film like this in a long time. Found
Yeah.
footage film.
Yeah, like not in the same way that they are used to do them, at least. Like I actually don't even know the last one that I saw, but yeah, they just got so tiresome too, and they kind of do that with so many things. Something will become popular, and then everyone will just beat it like a dead horse, and
Yeah.
Like I think the last one I saw was LLC
okay,
or House LLC. I think.
Oh
that's
yeah,
what it's
Hell
called.
House.
Yeah, Hell House. There we go. Hell House LLC.
Yeah.
I can't say that 3 times fast.
I'm one of the people that didn't really like that series. Have you guys watched it?
I saw the first one and I didn't mind the first one, but I'll have to watch the whole series.
I found it pretty dull.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Yeah, the first one, I don't know what I was expecting, but for a found footage movie, I felt like it left a lot to be desired. What did you think, Alex?
The first one I thought was good. I've only seen the first one. I can see the distaste in it just because, like, things slightly moving, and then like not a lot really happens even at the end. Like, she was a ghost the whole time. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. But like I can see both sides of the argument. It's like Blair Witch. I'm not a big fan of Blair Witch, but I can definitely see the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot more things happen in Hell House than in Blair Witch. But I think like what Blair Witch has going for it is just the moodiness and
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere.
It started a genre.
Yeah.
And like that's the other thing. Like I wasn't around for that like big boom. Like what was it released 99? Like I wasn't watching.
Everyone that was around that time talks about the marketing for the film.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things you've had to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing I can compare it to is with Cloverfield.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys were on the internet around that time.
Not overly.
But yeah, the craze for that film. Well, I have it in my background right here. But yeah, the craze for that film. They did very well with the marketing. They had this website where it was like you had to figure out certain things and it leads you to another clue. So they did very well with the marketing with that. So I can imagine how it was with, Blair Witch when that was coming out, because that was like the initial boom for the internet craze too around that time. People thought this was real,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they portrayed it just so well, so everyone went to see it in theaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate it for that fact, just like the impact that it had on the genre and just on the horror culture as a whole. And like, I don't know. When I watch the movie, I kind of find myself getting bored, but I can still appreciate it for what it created and what came from it,
Yeah, exactly. It looks like we have Brett C coming in. He says, it's been a rough week, but keep on rolling.
How's it going today, Brett?
You had a rough week. I don't know if that's for you, but sorry you had a rough week, man. But just sit back, relax. Let's enjoy our time here. Thanks for commenting. Did you guys have any other worse?
I had no more.
No, nothing that comes to mind right off the top of my head.
I didn't really hate a lot of movies.
Yeah, a lot of them were just kind of middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hate them and I didn't love them, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was basically the same. Like I didn't hate a lot of movies this year for sure.
Yeah, I felt like with this year and with last year, I only watched films that I actually really wanted to watch and that I thought I was going to like. I didn't really go into films, thinking, I'm going to hate this film, except for Separation. I had a feeling that I wasn't going to like it. But, I try to go into a film like, okay, maybe this is one that is going to be good, Maybe this is the one,
Always keep an open mind to it.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But, you know, I figured out, to be more choosy with my time.
Yeah, that's
we only
fair.
we only have so much of it.
Can't waste it on movies like The Separation.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't waste our precious time on watching what is it? This Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions, when it's just going to be the exact same thing as Escape Room 3.
Yeah, but I guess people really like that film because I think they greenlit for a third one.
Oh,
Right?
It was greenlit for a third one, pretty much on opening day of the second one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And just-
see it. I'm still gonna see it.
Yeah, me too. We have to, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So, whenever you guys are coming up with, your rules for the movies, do you try to do movies that you like, or when you guys come across like a horrible movie, do you guys try to come up with games for those too?
Honestly, we're not
Yes.
opposed to doing either one.
No.
Specifically, one that comes to mind is in the Conjuring franchise
Mm-hmm.
with The Curse of La Llorona.
Curse
Oh,
of
yeah.
La Llorona. So we did, obviously there's a franchise movie. So
Yeah.
what was it? Halloween 2 Rob Zombie. We've made some. We do plan on doing some bad movies, just so if you happen to be watching this movie by some unfortunate circumstance, you can at least enjoy it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's like you watch it because it's so bad, and it's in terms of drinking games, it's fun to sit down with a group of friends, have a drink, and just make fun of how bad a movie is.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not opposed to making drinking games for terrible movies. It kind of works hand in hand in a way, and it makes it fun experience.
Yeah,
whether the
it
movie's
makes
good
it
or
a
bad.
lot more bearable for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then speaking about your drinking games, when you guys do the videos, are you guys actually drinking, or what's really in those cups?
Occasionally.
Yeah. So honestly, it changes up from video to video, not gonna lie. Some days we'll feel okay, let's some days Alex will have a drink and I'll just have water in my cup. Some days we'll both have a drink. Some days I'll have a drink. It just changes, and it depends what we're kind of feeling that day.
It's basically 50-50, I'd say. So for example, we both have drinks now.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Mine's almost empty, but we don't think about it too much. It's just kind of what we feel like.
Mhm.
But we always have to have the red Solo cup to pretend like we're drinking.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was about to say, damn, these guys' livers must be wrecked.
We're Canadian. We're okay.
We have our beer.
We have nothing else to do here, especially in the winter.
Oh my gosh. All right,
No.
and then, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're not too bad on ourselves. We do it in moderation,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What do you guys have right now?
I got a vodka water. That's what I got. Well, it's pretty much empty. I got a sip left, maybe.
I've got what is it? The White Freeze Mics.
Oh, okay. How many sips you have left?
I have about the same as Tucker's. Honestly, if I were to venture a guess, I'd say less.
Oh, okay. So, with those high drinking games, do you guys actually go through with it?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Especially so we do horror nights with our friends
It's
every week. Sometimes we take weeks off and just have a break or go do whatever else. But we do 2 movies a night usually. The first movie we play all the way through, whether it's easy, hard, whatever. Most people take part in the whole thing, And then the second one comes around and we're feeling it a lot more. And then it's kind of up in the air. Some people partake in the second one. Some people don't because they need a break. They're just taking it easy.
Yeah.
But at least for the first one, I could say for myself at least, I always do the whole thing.
Yeah, no, definitely for me too. On top of that, you asked if the horror movie drinking games are hard if we still drink to it, the answer is yes. I remember very recently Tucker was in charge of making the rules for the It miniseries drinking game, and he said whenever somebody says the word "it," you drink, which is a bad idea considering it's the 10th most common word in the English language.
Yeah.
And we turned subtitles on for that one for sure.
And it was a very bad idea, especially for like what a 3.5 hour movie.
Hey, I knew it was
Tucker needs to chill, man.
It was a Friday. We had to go hard.
In saying that, it's also a good experiment in terms of what we're able to do for the channel. So, for example, when we're making the rules for the channel, we are not going to have that as a drinking rule. Like, if you've been paying a lot of attention to our Halloween drinking games, like whenever we had pumpkins show up, it was basically like at least like 30 drinks per movie.
Yeah.
And in that, like in saying that again, we probably wouldn't do pumpkins again. But like once, like we didn't really think of it too much. We're just like, pumpkins. Yeah, there's got to be some in like every Halloween movie.
I think it's a good Halloween rule.
Yeah, and then we just didn't switch it up. We're just at that point we were just like in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, and I like how whenever you guys do series like that, you guys kind of keep the rules kind of relatively the same to like keep that correlation.
Yeah, we try to do that just to make it easier for when you go in to watch that franchise. If someone wants to sit down and watch that over the course of, however long, they don't have to think too hard about what the rules are. There's those baseline like 7 or 8 rules, and then there's a couple unique rules for every film. It just makes it easier to remember, and you don't have to focus too hard on remembering what the rules are and stuff.
And on top of that, it's just kind of interesting to know, like, in like comparing the movies. So, for example, like, what was I going to say? Like crucifixes for the Conjuring. How the Nun is basically unplayable with crucifixes, where like any of the other like main series Conjurings are fine.
Yeah. With the Conjuring series, what did you guys think of the newest film, Devil Made Me Do It?
Go ahead.
It was the same thing with Halloween for the most part. It disappointed me a little bit. Like there were some definite bright spots for sure, but for the most part, it was disappointing.
For me, I wasn't disappointed in it. I was kind of glad they took a new approach to it, and it wasn't just the stereotypical haunted house James Wan Conjuring movie. I'm glad that they took a different approach for it and gave us a little bit more focus on including Ed and Lorraine in having their own story rather than just being the demonologists. I did like that aspect of it, and the opening scene I loved, just the way that kid's body was twisted and turning, and the exorcism scene was phenomenal, I thought. I wish the rest of the movie lived up to how that part was, but I still did enjoy it. I liked it better than the Halloween Kills. But in terms of the Conjuring franchise, it's middle of the pack for me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. For me, that opening scene, I thought the CGI kind of looked suspect on the kid. That kind of pulled me out of it. But that scene overall, like you said, was pretty good.
Yeah, the only CGI they used for that scene actually was pasting the kid's face on the body, because that was an actual contortionist performing that scene. Which, I think
it was the face through.
Yeah. And I get that. It was a little weird, and it had that uncanny valley feeling, but
it did.
Yeah, I get that point. But for me, the fact that it was actually a contortionist twisting their body in that way, and I just kind of thought it was impressive, and I guess that took precedent over the way the face looked for me. That's just what I
like how they did that it was an actual person.
Yeah, exactly.
The villain in the film. I thought that was a nice change of pace. Mm-hmm. But my main gripe with the film is just like the story overall, like the actual story it's based on. It's kind of like weird. I don't know if you guys have gone into the actual story of it.
Yeah, we got a bit into it. It's definitely a strange case.
Yeah, it was basically unrelated, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just kind of weird. It just had a weird vibe, making money off of something like that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, that's a lot of Ed and Lorraine cases, though. It's basically like there's a demon there, and that's basically it. They don't go over the whole thing where Ed and Lorraine Warren are just horrible, horrible people.
Oh yeah, they make them look like heroes when they're really just they're not
I feel so bad for the actors in a sense because they are such horrible people in real life. Not the actors, but Ed and Lorraine Warren. I love Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson's such a good actor.
And Vera Farmiga
as well. Yeah. No, they're such good actors, but
Patrick Wilson. I think I don't know if you would say his career was revived, but he became more of a big name after James Wan with Insidious and the Conjuring movies. When you think of Patrick Wilson, one of the first things you think of is the Conjuring series. And
no, I'm a big Patrick Wilson fan.
Isn't he directing the new Insidious movie?
He is. Yeah. He's directing the new Insidious movie,
so
which I'm
interesting to see that.
For. But yeah, he's been in Hard Candy. He's been in The Watchmen. I haven't actually.
Hard Candy.
Yeah. Hard Candy is another great movie. That's very underrated. Not talked about all that much. With what's the name?
Their name is Elliot Page now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that movie. There's Watchmen, Bone Tomahawk, which I still haven't seen.
Bone Tomahawk. Yeah, definitely check that one out.
Insidious, obviously. I think he was in Aquaman as well. He's really helped out James Wan for sure. They fed off of each other for sure. They both made a career for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think they're really good friends too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Another person that branches out from James Wan is Lee Winnell. What do you guys think of Lee Winnell so far with his filmography?
Lee Winnell's been very interesting.
Yeah.
So, for example, he hasn't been done too many things as of recent. The ones that I know for sure is Upgrade, which I haven't seen, but I have seen Invisible Man, and Invisible Man was really well done, I think. I was pleasantly surprised with how Lee Winnell did Invisible Man.
Yeah, if you look at Upgrade, you could see why they chose him for the Invisible Man with the story that they ended up telling.
Yeah. But yeah, he did a fantastic job. His acting could use work, especially in the first Saw movie. It got better in Insidious.
Yeah. He's a decent comic relief for Insidious. Yeah. But yeah, even in Insidious, he's the one character that I don't care that much if he's there or not or whatever. But yeah, I agree. His acting needs some help a bit, but
it was great at that scene that really counted at the end. When he's screaming and closes the door. And game over. That scene always gives me chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do it where it counts.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of his acting in Saw it's laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. The same thing with Gordon.
Yeah, he's got some.
Oh, yes. He was in something else that I forgot what he was in, and it really hurts me.
He's been playing a villain a lot.
Yeah.
He was in the new Black Christmas. He was what else was he in? Where he was a douche. He was in Stranger Things, right? He plays the mayor, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I tripping? Yeah. Yeah. So he's been playing some villainous type characters so far, but he was in Princess Bride. He was Robin with the Robin Hood movie. It's been a lot of stuff. But in Saw, for some reason, I don't know, his acting was kind of I think all the acting was kind of hokey in that movie. Even
Yeah,
what's his name? The detective. What can I think of? Um,
Why can't I think of it?
I'm getting too old for this shit.
God,
Glover, something Glover. Or am I confusing?
Saw? Donald Glover?
Donald Glover.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Okay.
Danny Glover. Yeah.
But that was the other thing I was thinking of that he was in. He was in The Unholy, if you guys seen The Unholy, which was released this year.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking of that he was from recently.
Oh, The Unholy. Oh,
Yes.
that's another worst. I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. What did you think of The Unholy?
I didn't mind it all that much. I thought it was
Really?
all right. Yeah.
Oh, I got so confused because there's that one scene where he's walking up to the hotel room, and then like shortly after it was like the identical shot of him walking up to the hotel room. I was like, wait, what the heck did this movie like rewind and play that scene
Yeah.
back? Like, I got so confused. I was like, why did they leave that in there? Like, just show him in the hotel room, because nothing even happened. Well, it was just him walking up to the hotel room.
Alrighty.
Can you guys hear?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and get into Resident Evil. Did you guys end up watching that?
We did, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a late night.
Oh, okay. So, let's start off with Tucker. What's your initial thoughts of the new Resident Evil?
So I'll preface this by saying I'm not the biggest fan of the Resident Evil franchise as a whole. And I think a lot of the reason for that is like I never got into the games or anything, so I had no source material to base it off of or like compare it to or anything, But I will say that this new Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, I thought it was done a lot better than a lot of the other Resident Evil movies, like especially with the sequels.
And let's start off with non-spoiler, and then we'll get into spoilers.
Oh yeah, I won't spoil anything, but I like the way that a lot of the stuff looked, like the cinematography, and then also just like the design of some of the zombies or whatever. I liked how a lot of them looked, and I was like, I don't know, I was interested enough to like be engaged and not feel like the movie was dragging, but also on the other hand, it's like it's one of those movies that it's just not my taste, I guess. I'm not into like the zombie movies as a whole, with a few exceptions. Like I really like Shaun of the Dead, and I don't know, I'm drawing a blank right now on some of the other ones that I do enjoy. But
do you like Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead, yeah, that one's, I love Dawn of the Dead. But I don't know why the zombie genre as a whole I'm just not into. Maybe because it's been so overdone and done so poorly in so many ways. That's probably what it is for me. I'm just tired of it, I guess. But yeah, for Resident Evil, it's like take it or leave it for me. The franchise as a whole, and this new movie kind of falls into the same pot for me. Like take it or leave it. I did enjoy it. It was kind of fun to watch, but it's whatever for me,
So as for myself, Resident Evil, I feel like I liked it a lot more than I should have. for the main reason of I haven't played the first two games, but I know the plot pretty well. The only real problem that I had was Leon Kennedy. I feel like was very, very poorly casted.
Yeah.
In saying that, everything else
Written
I feel
as
like.
well.
Sorry.
Written as well.
Who?
Written as well.
Poorly written.
Oh,
Yeah,
written.
written
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yeah. No, Leon's character. Like, I don't blame the actor. Just the script was so bad for Leon. I feel it did not do him any favors whatsoever. He worked with what he could, and it made him turn out to be a very whiny character and not confident at all. It worked its way through, like it worked itself out like about 3/4 into the film, but that's like way too late, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
In saying that, I feel like the villain, you really didn't know all that much until like the end of the movie. I was like, oh yeah, that guy exists still.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah, I feel like, again, I had no business liking it as much as I should have, though.
Oh, okay. So I was saving my thoughts for this.
Okay.
Overall, I thought it was okay. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the better for sure Resident Evil adaptations.
Mhm.
I think with just how it was like, you know, put out there that it was going to be the most, you know, what is it, congruent with, you know, the actual video games.
Yeah.
I felt like some of the liberties that they did take didn't really work out that well. Like Leon, for instance, like you mentioned, I really didn't like the way they portrayed him in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand that, you know, he's a rookie, but to make him like almost like a bumbling idiot was like a bit too far. But like with the sets and everything, I thought it all looked great. The police station, the actual Spencer Mansion. I actually played the video games. I played Resident Evil 2, so that's what more the portion of the film was actually based on, you know, when they stayed at the police station.
Yeah.
But I think that was like one of the biggest things that really didn't you know, make the film work out, was because they bit off a bit more than that they could chew, because they try to morph the first one and the second one into one movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they should have just picked one. You know, there's a character in the film. We'll get more into that in the spoilers, but they're a pretty big character in the video games, and they were saying that they were going to be a prominent character in the actual movie. And for me, I felt like they were hardly even in the movie. Like, if I would imagine if like there was like, you know, a random viewer watching the film not knowing anything about the video games, they'd be like, what the hell is this person, or what is this, you know? So they'd be like clueless, because they don't really even explain it really in the movie. It's kind of like, if you're gonna have fan service or something of that nature, like have it be something small. But this was like, you know, an actual character that was there.
I don't think I know what you're talking about, weirdly enough. However, I'll say this, that I played like Resident Evil 4 a lot. That was my main Resident Evil game. Like I beat that thing so many times from front to back, and that's the main reason why I dislike Leon Kennedy in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm curious what else you have to say about the character here.
Yeah, but like overall, I think the movie was okay. There's some things that don't really make sense, like some of the ending. There's just, you know, just some nitpicky, and I try not to be nitpicky for especially a video game adaptation, because usually those films don't turn out that great. But I think overall this was okay. It was a pretty good adaptation, a lot better than the actual other films from the franchise. Those ones that we just put in random characters, and the story would be some random thing that they threw all the kitchen sink, you know, with the characters and the creatures and stuff. It was just random. So, although I do like the first one, like for what it is, like if you were to like kind of remove it from being like from the Resident Evil franchise, I think it's a pretty good movie overall. But for being a Resident Evil movie, I think it didn't really work out. But for Welcome to Raccoon City, I think it was okay. If I was to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 5. I go out of 5. I'd give it like a 2 out of 5. What about you guys?
I'd say like 3.5. Like
Yeah.
again, I liked it a lot more than I should have.
I would also agree with you and give it a 2.
A 2? Okay.
But then again, like I'll also note that like Tucker and I, with our friend group, are watching like the original Resident Evil series, and we just got past the we finished
the third one
the other week. So now it's going to be all downhill from there. I liked the first and the second one, and after that, it did not do so well.
It's already been going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's so fun.
I kind of like the third one a little bit. Although like after that, like nothing makes sense because you created this desert world.
Yeah.
Why is it not desert anymore? It's like what is
desert world, and then Alice has a million clones that are just gone in the next movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so many things with that series that don't make sense. But I don't know. I think they had it in mind to just make them into popcorn flicks. You don't have to really think about it.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that they no longer have the IP and they can actually, do something with it,
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and get into spoilers. So you can get more in depth into what you didn't or actually liked in the movie. So we'll start off with you, Alex. Since you had a higher rating, what did you really like about the movie?
So it's really hard for me to put it into perspective. Like playing the video games enough, I like that the zombies were actually like terrifying. Like especially like if you were on edge, like trying to play like a game like this in VR, this is how you would feel. Like it was a lot more scary than the other Resident Evil movies, I would say. On top of that, I like the whole like premise of like them slowly getting surrounded. Like obviously it's like any other zombie film. The whole mansion looked immaculate as well. Mansion was great. The whole thing with I forgot the actor's name, the one who plays Luther in Umbrella Academy, him trying to betray Jill, the little nod to 8 at the end. It played a very good homage to the video games, to the source materials for sure.
Okay. What about you, Tucker?
For me, the main thing that I liked about it is the way that the zombies looked. I like that a lot, how they looked. And like Alex mentioned, it is a lot more terrifying and unsettling in this movie compared to the like original Resident Evil franchise movies. And like the cinematography looked like the movie looked good all around. But the one thing I did like was that the scene with the villain, what the hell is his name? That doctor or whatever. The way that he was transforming and stuff, and like with the G virus and stuff, him taking the vial and injecting himself, and that whole scene at the end there, I like that, and it was engaging for me. I don't think that they spent enough time setting him up as the villain.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's who you're referring to before.
No, I'm not even.
Okay. I wish they would have like kind of did more times with or spent more time with his character development, just so we, hated him a little bit more, or kind of understood what he was doing a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like they didn't spend enough time on that.
That's what aspect. I was kind of getting at too. He felt very, very just like son. It's like, I guess he's the bad guy for some reason because I forgot we were chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just turned him into the tyrant, and that was that. So for me, like some of the positives, like going more in depth, I really like the opening, and I like the mood that they set up. I did feel like a sense of dread. It had a very different type of feeling that I didn't think was going to happen. I was like, wow, this is actually going to feel like, a horror film. Mm-hmm. And with some of the shots as well, like when they run over that zombie and they go outside and the zombie disappears, and those shots where they're like zooming in on Claire and the truck driver, It was shots like that from the director's past movie, The Strangers. It kind of had like that same type of feel. I don't know if you guys saw that movie as well.
Yeah.
Pray at Night, right?
Yeah, Pray at Night. Yeah. So I was like, wow, they're really setting up the mood. And from there, whenever they got to the town, I didn't really feel like the town was Raccoon City. Did you guys feel like it? Did it feel like Raccoon City?
I felt like the police station was Raccoon City.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I felt the same way. It felt too small town.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
if it was the budget, why they had to do that, but yeah, it felt way too small town for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it felt like a small town for sure.
Yeah. And then the introduction of the characters was kind of like, when they're in the diner and we see Leon, he's like sleeping on the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, feels forced,
Yeah.
But other positive, I'm getting into negatives. Oh my gosh. Other positives, I would say the police station
Yeah.
looked really great. The Spencer Mansion, although there were times that it didn't feel like the Spencer Mansion, but I feel like, again, they were mashing two games into one movie. I feel like they should have just concentrated on which one they wanted to do, and that was the biggest pitfall that I could see in regards to the movie. But a character that I thought we were going to go more into was the Lisa Trevor character, and that's the one that visits the Claire when she's young. Very creepy, very eerie. I thought we were going to get more in depth with that character, and the director said that we were. But did you guys feel like that character was fleshed out?
Not at all.
No.
Like we saw her in the opening scene or whatever, and then
we saw her
very
in the one
briefly
scene.
in the end,
And
or
then-
near the end.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like
we
all
don't.
she did was give her a key.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't know like why she was there, what her purpose.
Yes, she was just a Deus Ex. That's pretty much all she was. She was there to save the day for that small moment.
Exactly. And like, it just, we didn't know anything about her, and I don't know. That was one thing that felt out of place for me. Just watching it, I was like, who is this? Why is she here? I don't really understand it. I just didn't understand what was going on.
Did you get the feeling that she was experimented on, or did you think that she was just another random orphan in the?
I didn't even know what to think. To be completely honest, to be fair, I haven't played Resident Evil 1, so I really didn't know what to expect. But it was just like I assumed she was a zombie in like some capacity, but she had like obvious like brain functions, so I didn't know what to think. So like she must have been experimented on, but at the same time, why would they just like let her run like freely through an orphanage?
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was really hoping that they were going to flesh out that character a bit more, but they didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a eerie character too. Like I liked the parts that she was in because they were super creepy.
Exactly, but they were just so brief and not expanded on enough.
Yeah,
exactly. And then of course they have like some Easter eggs. They have some set pieces from the actual video games. So like I didn't really know what to think in regards to like, would fans of the video game like the movie? Some people want, a faithful adaptation. Some people would want a loose adaptation. So I didn't really know what to think. I'm like semi fan. I played a couple of the games, but I never really followed it, like for each game. Like I played Resident Evil 2. I played some of the newer ones. I haven't played really many of the older games. I was like a bit too young. I was kind of strict with what I could play. But in regards to that, like from what I saw with I don't know if you guys have played the new remastered game, Resident Evil 2. You
I
guys
played a
that?
little bit of it. Like I played enough to see what's his name? It's not Nemesis, is it? It's
Oh yeah, Nemesis is in the third one.
yeah. What's the guy's name?
The Tyrant?
Yes.
Or are you talking about the guy with the black suit?
The black, like the trench coat. I think
Yeah,
he
they
just
call
has,
him Mr. X or
like,
something
Mr.
like
X. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like I played up to that part where he just kind of follows me around the police station, but
that.
that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. Like I have not came close to completing the game.
But yeah, there are if you played that, there are some Easter eggs from that. And of course, if you played the first one, you would definitely see Easter eggs from that as well.
Yeah.
But I think, fan service can go so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can only call it a Jill sandwich so many times.
Yeah. One of the things that I found so hilarious was when Leon is there at the front desk and listening to music in the sleep.
Yes.
And when that truck scene happens and the zombie comes out, I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just like, how fucking incompetent can they make Leon? That was my main problem.
I couldn't believe it. With the music and everything, I was like, what is going on here? The music felt so out of place at times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Tucker?
Well, with that scene specifically, we were the only ones in the theater yesterday watching this movie. It was at like 10 at night or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the semi flipped over and like crashed right outside the building or whatever. And I was just about to make the comment, I'm so glad that semi didn't explode like an unrealistic explosion. Right before I made that comment, boom, explosion happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
And the funny thing is the exact same thing happened with the helicopter.
Yeah.
When it ran into the mansion.
And it's just those explosions, they seem so early 2000s and like, it's just unrealistic for a semi to just randomly explode like that.
Like everything just stops and then it explodes like a second later.
Yeah.
And did they have noise canceling headphones back then?
Well,
it was advertised by Sony. That's why the same creators of the movie.
Make sure to get that shot of the Sony headphones.
Imagine what they're like in 2021. This was 98.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why they made it so that he didn't react to that until the guy was in the building on fire. Actually, he was shot before he even noticed, wasn't he? Like
I think he got out his gun and then like the other guy shot him. The head
sheriff.
Oh yeah, the chief. He comes out and wakes him up and shoots the zombie, right?
Yeah, that's how he woke up, was because of the chief shooting the zombie.
How do you fail to witness like a truck exploding yet skidding right in front of your face and a dead man on fire like walking towards you?
You could feel the heat, right?
Exactly.
Like, fire that close, you would be able to feel it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did not like how they did Leon. A lot of people were taking issue with the casting, and I kept an open mind. A lot of people were being a little bit like xenophobic, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, it's an actor. Just wait until the film comes out. But the way they wrote him is just, they did not do him any favors at all.
The writing was the main problem.
So sad.
Sure. Yeah.
But I liked Claire. I thought she was good. She was what was the last movie I saw with the actor? Or the alligator movie, Crawl.
Okay.
Crawl. She was good in that as well. I think she was a good Claire Redfield. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
I think she was good for the most part, definitely. She was good. I also really enjoyed what's his name, Wesker in the movie. Wesker was played by the guy who's Luther in Umbrella Academy. He was done pretty well, I'd say. Claire was definitely done well, though. I don't really have a problem with anybody besides Leon, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I thought Jill was good as well.
Yeah.
And then there was that rando that got eaten.
Was that the guy called like Tucker? This is the guy that's gonna die second in the movie.
Yep.
And then he was the guy.
He's for the body count.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was before like even the first person died.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Tucker is gonna die second. It's like, why second? It's like somebody else has gotta die before him. Sometimes you just know. Speaking of another instance with the movie, I know like Leon had a bit in the movie where his whole shtick was like he shot his partner in the ass. And I know Tucker in the theater said that the way the movie should have ended with him killing like the main villain is he should have shot him like right in the ass with a rocket launcher. that would have made
it came full circle right there.
Yeah. That's a way to set up a character, but they didn't do that. Like I understand you don't want to make it a comedy, but that would have been so good.
It just turned
that would have
around and
that would have had
bent
great payoff.
Well, you know, in the video games, there's always like an eye that pops out. So it should have been like a butthole. Just pops out.
Yeah.
Another part that I thought was kind of like stupid was the part where Chris, he's in the mansion and it's dark and he's like, just like, you know, turning on the lighter and the zombie getting closer and closer. I was like, what the heck is going on here?
The one scene with I think they were just taking shots with their guns, and it was just like constantly like it hurt me to watch the scene. It was just like consistent light flickers. Like,
oh yeah,
I
don't know if they did that for the budget or
I don't know. Actually, it was. I hated it so much.
That scene actually hurt me. And like I'm not epileptic or anything, but I feel sorry for somebody that is, because that was a painful scene to get through.
Yeah, right when it ended, I was just like, well, that sucked.
Like I was squinting through the entire scene because it hurt my eyes so much. Like it was not a great scene to watch visually at all.
I don't know if it was like an artistic, you know.
I think that's like what they were going for.
I get what they were going for, but oh my god, they probably must have thought like, hey, this is a great idea. Went for it like shot by shot, like frame by frame, and then never like played it like fully like back to back and like seen what the scene actually looked like on film.
Probably not. But yeah, that lighter scene was stupid too. I was like, okay, are we seeing from Chris's point of view, or are we like off to a side and he doesn't see the zombie coming closer and closer to him? It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you just kind of saw the lighter, but he didn't like recognize or pay attention to the zombie that was constantly coming closer as he was lighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on? Like, yes, it's getting closer and closer. Shoot it. Yeah, I don't know what they were going for there. Yeah. Any other last minute thoughts in regards to Resident Evil?
And that's pretty much all I had for Resident Evil, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. Like I said in the top, it's just mainly I never got into the games, so I don't have anything. Like if there's any Easter eggs, I'm not gonna catch them. I won't know anything about that. So like that takes away from the movie for me. And like if there's any fan service, I won't understand what's going on, you know? So it's just like it's harder for me to enjoy that movie, I guess, because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering what a person that, you know, has never seen or played the video games and hasn't seen the past movies, what they would actually think, you know, watching this.
Yeah,
I would imagine they would be like clueless to what's happening.
Oh yeah, and there's definitely things that I was lost about, and there's things I didn't understand, or like what was her name, Lisa Travers, the one we talked about.
Lisa Travers.
Yeah, I had no idea. Still don't know her story at all. So like I'm lost on that. Like I don't know. There's a lot of things about it that I just, you know, I don't understand.
Yeah, she's the first Umbrella experiment.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought they were going to explain, you know, go into her story, but they did not.
Well, even if they would have included that one line, that would have been better than what happened. Because like that wasn't even, in my opinion, it wasn't even implied. I feel like that's something you had to know. You have to have previous knowledge about, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so I was imagining like what does somebody think that has
Yeah.
not seen the video game or played the video games of this character? Just a random character that kills a liquor, rips off rips off its jaw or something. Forgot what she
Yeah.
did to it.
I think it was the jaw,
Mhm.
bottom half of the head almost,
Yeah.
with that board on her arms or whatever, just like ripped it off.
Oh, she's really nice. She helped them.
Yeah.
And then that's
well,
it. She gives them a key and off you
Yeah.
go.
And then she probably dies in the explosion. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then-
exactly.
And then all they say about that scene is, was it Leon that said? He's like, "Wow, you have
some
really weird friends."
At least Leon was back to garbage one-liners like he does in the video games, which I was happy he started to do towards the end.
Yeah. At least they made it a little bit more confident at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least it made it like a little bit more actually like Leon at the end.
Oh, but that scene in the cell room, it was just like, what's
Oh.
going on here?
Yeah.
Just have to plow through the whole family before you can get the TUG virus or whatever.
Yeah. And the weirdest explosion too at the end with the cow.
Yeah, the cloud just kind of
That's-
floated away.
I feel like we're shitting on this movie, but it was okay.
Yeah, I know. I still find it 3.5 stars. I still like it.
No, it's easier to find the bad things about a movie than it is
Yeah.
to say what you liked.
Mhm.
It's easier
Yeah.
to talk about. That's like with anything in life. It's easier to talk about the shitty things.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, didn't really make sense. Once Leon actually gets something to do, he could have killed everyone in that train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable that he wouldn't kill at least somebody that was close to the creature. You know, Chris Redfield. He
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
right
that's what I
there.
kind of thought too.
Maybe if it did stick out its butthole, it would have like went in there. Would have been more of a enclosed explosion. All right, you guys, but yeah, that's our thoughts on Resident Evil. Overall, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nothing for me, anyways.
Nothing. Nothing comes to mind. No, we covered a lot. We covered a lot tonight.
We indeed did. All right, you guys, it was really nice having you guys on. I'm glad we were able to do this. I had a lot of fun.
I did
Oh, yeah,
too. Thank
it
you for
was-
having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and it was awesome to finally meet you. Not really in person, but like as in person as we can get.
Right?
Rather
Yeah,
than
for
just
sure.
over Messenger or whatever. It was a pleasure to be on, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It's fun just talking with anybody about
Mhm.
horror. So
If we wanted to, we could quickly go over anticipated movies of 2022.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah. There was one we were gonna get to.
Mhm.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Let's
wanna
do
get
that real
into it?
quick then.
Yeah, sure. So
right.
I guess my most anticipated, well, first of all, I'll get this one out of the way, is Halloween Ends. I'm super excited to see how it ends and just hopefully put a close and a wrap on the franchise with a nice little bow on top and call it quits for the
I
franchise.
think I've got another one that neither of you two were thinking about. Terrifier 2.
Oh, I was thinking about that earlier.
Terrifier 2.
I was
really
hoping that
want.
was going to come out this year. but
I
it's
thought
supposed
so
to.
too, but it got delayed again.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Terrifier 2. The first one was awesome.
Mhm.
The trailer was very cool. It's very different from what you see, you know, mainstream.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think I remember the trailer for Terrifier 2. But either way, it's definitely the movie I'm looking forward to the most. Maybe next to Insidious.
Yeah, Insidious 5, is it? The Dark
5,
Realm.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, mainly because I'm such a huge fan of the Insidious franchise. Like, the first one's one of my favorite moderate horror movies, alongside with a few others that we talked about. But yeah, Insidious, The Dark Realm, I'm curious to see what Patrick Wilson does at the helm with that.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to that. And then the one that we hinted at earlier on in the stream was The Black Phone, is it called?
The Black Bone, yes.
Directed
Yeah,
by
the Black Phone.
directed by Scott Derrickson, who did Sinister. I'm looking forward to that. It's like is it based off of a short story?
I think
Yeah,
it's-
from Joe Hill.
Yeah.
He has a short
So-
story in 20th Century Ghosts. I don't know if you guys have read any of his stuff.
I haven't. No.
That if you guys are into reading, I know not many people are, but if you guys are, definitely check out some of his books. He's the son of Stephen King, but he tried to
Okay. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
he tried to make a name for himself though, so he went under the name of Joe Hill.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I heard about that. I forgot about it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie.
Mhm.
We see trailers for it all the
Yeah.
time whenever we go to the theaters, but
Mhm. Ethan Hawke's in it.
Ethan Hawke's in it, yeah. And
Yeah, he acts like a bumbling idiot, tossing all this stuff. Oh, can you help me?
Yeah.
Like, no, kid, don't.
yeah.
Don't do it. Yeah, it looks very interesting. It looks like a pretty dark role that Ethan Hawke is going to get into.
Mhm.
We haven't
yeah.
seen him really do a role like that,
No.
I think.
Another one that's coming out right in January is with Scream 5.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, Scream 5, I'm super excited for that,
Yeah.
of course. I'm a huge fan. Scream movies, the first Scream was the movie that really got me into horror, so
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm very excited for that. Glad that they're bringing back David Arquette.
Yeah.
You have Sydney, of course, Courtney
Mhm.
Cox, so it's really cool. The trailer, it gave just enough, in my opinion. A
Yeah.
lot of
they
people
didn't-
feel like it gave a bit too much, but they're supposedly saying that there's a bunch of red herrings in the trailer. So
Okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I look forward to seeing it. I've never I've seen the first two Scream movies. I've never, to be honest, seen the whole franchise and never gave it a fair shot, to be honest.
Mhm.
I did enjoy the first one especially. Second one was still good. I liked it. I don't know why I haven't even got around to it, but we're going to be looking at every Scream movie, making a drinking game for it on our channel in January too, just in preparation for the new one coming out.
Cool.
So yeah, we're going to see that new one and see what we think about it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see your guys' thoughts on that.
Mhm. I'm kind of the same with Tucker. I've actually only seen the first two as well, and that was I want to say 7 years ago. So I'll have to rewatch them all, see what I think. I wasn't a big fan of them the first time around, so we'll see how I feel about them the second time around. Especially watching so many horror movies now, in comparison to only the very few that I watched back in grade 9 when it was so many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the weakest one is Scream 4,
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
but
I think it's a pretty popular opinion.
3 or 4 I've heard.
yeah, I just think visually it stands out of all the other films because it has this
It's got a
weird
weird filter on it or
filter
something.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they chose to do that,
I
but
don't know that either. Yeah, but everything else is pretty much Scream. It's just yeah, just visually, it just always seemed unappealing to me. But it is Wes Craven's last film, so it's kind of
Mhm.
bittersweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Another one I'm excited for is going to be Nope.
Oh,
yeah.
that's the new Jordan Peele
Jordan Peele,
film.
yeah.
Yes.
I've seen trailers for it, but they haven't shown a whole lot in the trailer that I've seen. And
A trailer?
sorry,
They had a trailer. I haven't seen a trailer.
or
for
not
it.
not a trailer, but it was a teaser or something. I don't know what
I know they
I saw
released a poster.
was that. It
I don't know. I haven't seen anything for it.
It's
to
like
be
a
completely
cloud. There's like a cloud, and
Okay.
something's coming down from it.
okay.
Supposedly, it has something to do with extraterrestrials. It's gonna be aliens.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I like all of Jordan Peele's movies that he's put out so far. So he's another director that I keep an eye on
upcoming,
for sure.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's another one that is one to look out for sure.
Yeah.
And is really issuing in another a horror renaissance too.
Mhm.
Because after Not Us, what was the first one that he did?
Get out.
Get out.
Get Out, exactly. Yeah, after Get Out, that kind of like changed the game a little bit too.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
In the cast, they're gonna have Steven Yeun. He's gonna be in it from Walk. You guys remember him from Walking Dead. They're gonna have Kiki Palmer.
Okay.
So they're also gonna have Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out. He's gonna be in it as well.
Yeah.
Main character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I'm really liking the cast. So I'm very interested to see, what's the movie's going to be about. That's a trailer that I'll probably do a reaction to.
Yeah.
Any other movies coming up?
Nothing comes to mind all that much.
Yeah, no.
The Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage.
Well, yeah.
Is that coming out next year? I didn't even see if it was.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, all right, you guys. That's our overall thoughts on the films that we're excited for next year. Thanks for coming on, you guys. Really appreciate it. It was nice talking to you.
Oh yeah.
Stay in here. I'm just going to leave you guys in the green room. I'm going to end the broadcast. But everybody that stopped by, I want to thank all of you. Thanks for leaving a comment, leaving a like, and thanks so much for watching. And until next time, take care, peeps.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.